Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. Stand in line for your fix. A triple shot of Marcus in the mix, serving you yet another round of fish and grits. August 10th, 2017. How's it going for you, fellas?
Man, it's going wonderful. Man, you see Donald Trump talking shit to North Korea. Why is he doing that?
Man, why not? All he do is talk shit. That's what he do best. That's what he
I
maximum
mean,
talking shit.
North Korea out of all people to talk shit to, I just don't understand that.
If you ever wanted Vince McMahon as president, you have it.
Oh well,
And Donald Trump.
shit, he that is him.
Well, now Vince, don't talk that stupid. Don't talk down on my boy Vince like that.
He was just talking about if you
Vince ain't
attack.
never been bankrupt. Vince ain't never
Uh oh.
called out nobody just to call out nobody. Vince ain't never made a flat out fool or jackass of himself, lying about things here and there. Give the man some credit.
Some
He's built a
alternate
billion
facts.
dollar empire from scratch, family rooted, ground up.
All right, I'm gonna get off his case, but I'm just saying he take it to a whole different level. When you talk about being like a heel general manager, that's what Donald Trump is. He's that guy you boo
Man,
when he come
he's
out on
beyond.
SmackDown. So
Don't he just remind you like a classic villain or some shit?
that's what they.
Like
That's
he
what I'm
just really
saying.
don't think he's
He
doing
could have been
bad.
And
Spider
see,
Man.
the funny part about that is, man, I think that is so disrespectful to true villains out there, man. There are no villains that are that stupid, man. It's just me. I'm sorry. I always have been a fan of villains historically, coming from a comic book standpoint, because as it pertains to real life application, I always pick the villain because the villain thinks 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year about how to take over the world.
Yes,
His
sir.
work ethic is relentless. Heroes are reactive. Villains are proactive. I'ma always rock with the villain type of life. I'm just saying.
Hey, I got no problem with that, man. Like I said, I could care less what Trump do or what he say, but
Yeah, he's in his own category, man. I
Okay,
can't
yeah,
I can't classify him as a villain. I can't classify
hey,
him as an idiot or
he just been
he's
he
just
just been
Trump.
stressing
you
me out,
better
bro. I
you
hate
you
lying.
better worry about it if North Korea start launching some nukes over here. Hey, shit, you better keep your ears.
And I
Well, the
understand, but
bigger
we
problem with
gotta.
that is if 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 anybody is fooled into thinking that if these fools keep going back and forth, that it's just going to be North Korea versus the U.S., they're sadly mistaken. They
Yeah.
better keep their eyes on Russia and China too. And that's where the problem lies, because then we'll be down about at a 4 or 5 to 1 ratio as far as size of armies is concerned, because they got a lot of folks in China and a lot of folks in Russia.
Everybody just want to whoop our ass, man.
I know, man. See, and that's the biggest issue, man. Like it
I
seems
feel like
like
LeBron James right
everything
now.
is
Why
so
nobody
damn
don't like him?
negative in the press, dude. Like that's why sometimes I just need that escape. My escape, me personally, is football. I
You
escape
damn
watching.
right. Let's get this thing popping in, because I'm tired of talking about the Cheeto
Yeah.
face man.
Man, let's get into this preseason game that kicked off yesterday. Before I go into detail, special shout out to 610 for reading your boy reviews, man. They
Big
they
ups, big
Nice,
ups.
nice.
they looked out for Fish and Grits today. Definitely gave us live airtime reading the notes that we had. But I want to get you guys' opinion on what y'all seen yesterday before I get into
I'll let you go first, Griffin.
About what? I didn't hear you, Demarcus.
your opinion on what you seen yesterday at the game.
Well, I only caught big pizza of the game. Like I said, if you listen to the Fish and Grits podcast, I'm not the highest fan of Tom Savage, so I saw plain old Tom Savage, conservative Tom
Really?
Savage. But hey, that was the game plan. I mean, that was the game plan. Alfred Blue looked nice on that nice run that he had for once, but that's against backup, so I don't expect that against him. Foreman looked really good. He looked very good, and he like me. I know we were discussing early in the chat where you were saying that he's going to be the star in like 2 years. I can see him really making noise if Lamar Miller go down. You know how he is. Seesawing with his health issues. So I saw that, and then I also saw Deshaun Watson. They had a good conservative playbook for him. So that nice 15-yard touchdown run he had was nice, and he seemed like he needed to be a little bit more quick on his feet, but he'll get through those rookie mistakes.
Nice,
I,
nice, nice.
for me, I like the total body of work. For the most part, as a team, they look aggressive on both sides of the ball, even with a scaled down playbook. At times, I am hugely concerned with their offensive line, as is any other Texans fan. Uh, that being said, I like what I saw out of the running game. I think that Blue, Foreman, and Miller are going to make a very, very solid trio at
Mm-hmm.
tailback for the season for these guys. It'll be interesting to see if they pick up a fourth or a fifth because they still got guys in there like Hunt and Irvin and stuff like that that probably will be battling for either a special team spot or a fourth running back spot. One of the things to pay attention to in preseason. I like what I saw out of the quarterbacks. I know what I was going to get out of Savage, so it was pretty much par for the course. Watson, I enjoyed watching. A couple of things that stood out to me for him was he didn't look rattled. He didn't look like he didn't know what he was doing from a playbook standpoint. So that's
Mm-hmm.
all positive in there. A couple of things that I saw that did not appear to be rookie play was when they got down in the red zone, he got flushed and scrambled out of the pocket. He didn't take the time to eat sacks. He was smart enough and aware enough to throw the ball out of the end zone, maintain the field position as best he could. He was not real trigger happy as far as is being quick to run. He stayed inside the pocket. He stayed inside the play that he was trying to make. Was kind of hit or miss in the beginning, but he got a little bit more consistent as he stayed in there longer. He made some pretty good throws. He made some pretty good reads. I look for him to improve, but I'm on the conservative side. I want him to treat him like Aaron Rodgers and sit his ass down for a year until they can get that line better. I really don't like that line, but I like what I saw out of the kid, which wasn't anything surprising for me because I watched him play in his entire college career. He's an amazing
Exactly.
athlete. Uh, so I'm just looking for him to get out there, do the best that he can, and be that franchise QB going forward.
Definitely, definitely. And I must say, I did not focus as much on Deshaun Watson initially. I really didn't focus on him until going back the second time because I wanted to see how everything else worked on offense and defense outside of Watson. And first and foremost, I want to give a big shout out to David Quisenberry. Amazing story. I've recently lost people to cancer, so I know exactly what it means to just be a part of that fight, having a family member go out there, and just for the success story that he's having, man, it's just amazing to see. I'm glad he got some valuable reps. He still looked very rusty, but it was still good to see him out there. And like you said, on the offensive line, they had David Quisenberry next to a rookie who did not play big time college football. So it's kind of like they left him out there on the island. I wasn't real comfortable with that. Someone that has been through as much as Davis been, I feel you got to put somebody that can at least know the playbook, have adequate blocks. You can't have that many question marks on one side of the line. So Deshaun Watson, that was his main protection for like the entire third quarter. And the fact that he was even able to make something happen, that was amazing. The guy that stood out to me the most was Zach Cunningham. He was everywhere. It seemed like any play that went by, Zach Cunningham is going to be in the picture. It could have been at least 3 or 4 breakaway touchdowns that could have happened if it wasn't for him just with the amazing pursuit angles and everything. And the same thing from Dylan Cole, undrafted guy, very good hustle, 4 year starter. I believe he did like 35 bench reps at his combine. So amazing athlete, good size speed guy. He's like 6'1", 240. He flies down on special teams. That's what I like to see. I like to see that hustle and bustle that he showed.
So y'all gonna let Zach take over that spot for Cushion? Get rid of his overrated ass, or no?
I mean, as far as Cushion is concerned, he already know his replacement is here. So that's the main thing. He knows that the guy that's going to replace him is right behind him. So at any point, Cushion can be out of there.
But yeah, what else did you see on the other side of the ball, Marcus?
For me, defensively, I mean, what you see is pretty much what you're going to get from them. They've established themselves over the last 2 or 3 years as one of the premier and elite defensive units in football. Regardless of what you think about the Texans, I mean, the numbers don't lie.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they were number one in yards allowed, number two in points allowed last season. Uh, I mean, they are really streamlined. They're focused. They're locked in when it comes to their philosophy on defense. I think that there's going to be some definite surprises out there as far as people that are going to get pushed for their spots or people that might get replaced outright. It'll be interesting to see how the secondary shapes up and who's going to step up and take the place of Boye.
Exactly. That's the part I want.
as far as being a big playmaker.
That's what I wanted to look for last night, but I didn't get a chance to really look at the game. So, how did you think the corners did replacing Boye? You know that
the the
he was
corners did
really a
adequate,
force.
but the thing about it for me was I also take into consideration who they played and what their philosophy is.
Mhm.
Carolina isn't really a pass heavy team, so they didn't get a lot of tests. Now, the one thing that I will say is there were times in coverage where it seemed to be mental errors or communication errors because there were some pass plays that were made by Carolina that under normal circumstances, I don't think would have been completed against the Texans. But this part of that learning curve is part of it being the first game of preseason, and those are the things that you look at so you can work on going forward. But I have nothing less than expectations of the Texans being a top 10, probably top 5 defense again this year. Their linebackers are a little faster. I think that the secondary is kind of primed and pumped to prove a point that they can still maintain without their star from last season being there. The front four is going to do what they have to do, or front three rather is going to do what they have to do. And I think that their depth is going to be key for them this year. They have a lot of athleticism. They have a lot of bodies in there to work with. And it'll be interesting to see how they get all those pieces out on the field because you're going to have guys like DeMarcus said and Zach Cunningham that you're going to have to come up with a real good excuse for why that kid's not on the field because
A lot
he's
of
a playmaker.
A lot of them.
He's
I mean, from Zach Cunningham, Brendan Scarlett, he showed a lot of flashes, especially setting the edge, like I said, with Dylan Cole. Cushion, I expect Cushion to have a good year because anytime you get that competition, it should bring out that competitive side. And this is a guy that went to USC when they were almost linebacker U at the time. I mean, they had a lot of talent coming out of there. Of course, yourself could know. I mean, Green Bay Packers, they got some on there.
hey brother, the dude that was supposed to be the lowest man on the totem pole ended up being the best of the bunch coming out of that group.
Exactly, exactly. So, yeah, they got a lot of talent linebackers. It was a lot of question marks with the cornerbacks, but like you said, the play calling had a lot to do with it. And this is what a lot of people also got to take into account. This was Mike Vrabel's first time calling his own defensive game. At not one point did you see him next to Romeo trying to see, hey, should I do this call, this call? They kind of left him out there, so it was a learning
Exactly.
experience for him too. And he did trust his secondary a little bit too much. And you want to coach that trust your secondary because when the starters are out there, they're going to be in man-on-man coverage. So Robert Nelson should have made a few more plays, but he really got dusted on about, I want to say 3 long passes, and a couple should have been pass interference on his side too. So that wasn't that wasn't the brightest aspect of it, especially if this is the guy that you want to be your fourth corner. We seen Kevin Johnson miss a huge tackle, and you kind of seen his confidence leave when he missed that tackle on Kevin Benjamin. But it was good to see J.J. Watt and J.D. Clowney hustling down there to clean everything up. And one of the key things that I really looked at for the game was the running game. You know, Alfred Blue, he hit the hole real nice. Of course, Foreman hit the hole real nice. Miller, he couldn't get anything going. Had 2 rushes, end up with 0 yards, and 1 for -3, 1 for 3 yards. But it was Nick Martin that had me the most impressed. He was with the first 3 series with Savage. And he just controlled everything at the line of scrimmage. His head was on the swivel. I like when my center snaps the ball, then turns into a guard. It's like he came off with the force of a pulling guard, and at the center position, that's very important because when you're going up against those big nose tackles, and I know they wasn't facing the first team defense the whole time, and you can push around the second team a little bit more, but Nick Martin showed that nastiness that you wanted from a guy that's coming off missing an entire year and going back to his Notre Dame roots and what he was able to do
And
at
it's
that school.
interesting that you bring that up, and I completely agree. And it runs in the bloodline with him.
Yeah.
But the one thing that's going to interest me going forward with the Texans is a lot from what I see of their offensive line personnel. It's kind of shaping up to where they're probably going to be a better run blocking group
Oh yeah,
than pass blocking.
Xavier Seals,
Uh,
he cannot pass block for nothing. But
yeah, and
on that Alpha Blue run, if you looked, he pulled off with a lot of velocity,
oh
and he
yeah,
was
when
doing
they
that
broke out a
excellent.
lot
Yeah,
of their big runs, their offensive line play was great.
but they
But
can't hold up.
that's the thing is they're not gonna run the ball 45 times a game though. They're gonna
Exactly.
have to get back there and pass protect. And that's the thing that concerns me. But yeah, you're absolutely right. all the guys looked really good when it came to run, and it almost looked kind of night and dayish. Like they looked a little bit more focused and a little bit more confident when they knew it was a running play than when it was a pass play.
Yeah. I mean, that goes off your line. I mean, honestly, all they linemen are run blockers. Kendall Lamb, run blocker. Jeff Allen, run blocker. Xavier, run blocker. Nick Martin, he's a mauler. You know, so you got four of your best five linemen are legit run blockers. So, of course, you should have an advantage right there. But if they know it's coming, it's easy for them to crowd that line, which is why Lamar Miller couldn't have no success.
And that'll be a problematic issue for them moving forward because, going up against a stout defense like a Carolina is a good indication of that. A team that has great front seven play, they're going to give the Texans problems in that regard moving forward.
Especially Joe Webb. Joe Webb was probably the worst quarterback they could have faced because he's just a guy that can get on the move and start moving all your linebackers and safeties around. So that was just a bad matchup. But the defense was okay outside of Robert Nelson. I feel like he was the one guy that you can target and actually make plays on. But outside of that, as far as Deshaun Watson is concerned, I love everything I've seen from him. I see exactly where he can thrive at. The one thing I wish he really, really, really work on is his footwork. It's just like his plant foot is off sometimes. That's why you see on a lot of his throws, they get there, but there's no accuracy behind him because he's not stepped into his throw correctly. So I liked everything I've seen from him. He electrified the offense. He brought that extra juice that you want to offense, So it actually had me pumped about this entire season. I don't know when he's going to step into the forefront, but you can tell he's not afraid of the moment. But that was as close to a home game you can get at an away game that you'll ever see.
That also helps for him too. That he basically went back home to do his first preseason game.
So when he go to New Orleans for the third preseason game, don't expect no cheers. It's gonna be all blood on the walls. By the time you leave,
that's LSU country. They ain't got no love for Clemson out there.
Exactly. I think his biggest test is gonna come in the third preseason game, which I believe he should be starting that game. But I'm not the coach, so we'll see how it goes. But as far as the AFC South, these guys are the defending champions, the back-to-back defending champions at 9-7. What kind of record do you have the Texans going this year?
In honor of Jeff Fisher, we are not going to stop the bandwagon, and I got them right at 9-7 again.
Okay.
You got who at 9-7? The Texans?
Yep.
Oh man, I do not have the Texans at 9-7. I thought we would have gonna end with the Texans, but I got the Texans at 11-5. Honestly,
11-5. And who are those five?
I got those five. I know Marcus is gonna laugh, but oh well. I got them losing to the Bengals, Patriots, Seahawks, Titans, Steelers, and then I got them beating out the Colts in Week 17.
For me, I go with their 7 losses being, and I got Cincinnati, I got New England, I have Kansas City, I have at Seattle, I have at Baltimore, I have at Tennessee, and I have Pittsburgh.
So you added just 2 games of what
one of these things is heavily predicated on it, and I don't know what it is about them, but it's just one of them curses that they can't shake. I do not have them losing. I do not have them winning any primetime games. None. Any Thursday games, any Monday night games, I do not have them winning any. And unfortunately, they're on a few this year. Cincinnati on a Thursday, Baltimore on a Monday, Pittsburgh on a Monday, all L.
I don't see us losing to Baltimore because I don't feel like Baltimore is like you don't know
Baltimore Baltimore's that one team we never beat at their place. So
the Joe Flacco
and the fact that they're at Baltimore and the fact that it's in the middle of or at the end of November, I think is going to be problematic for the Texans.
And I don't know if you guys remember that Battle Red game on Monday night in like 2007.
Man, trust and believe. I remember that.
It kind of brings back.
I don't know, man. Baltimore doesn't have enough weapons, I think, and personally, to keep up with the Texans and what they probably can do, in my opinion. Personally, I saw enough Baltimore games last year, and I saw that offense is just really thrown the fuck off. In my opinion, I just don't think that offense is that fluid with Joe Flacco, and I think it's going to shine this year. The defense might be a little bit better than last year, but y'all have a lot of faith in that team, honestly.
I mean, that's one of the teams I got them lose to also. Me personally, I got New England, I got Seattle, Baltimore, Tennessee, Jacksonville, and Pittsburgh. Those are the 6 losses that I have. I got them going 10-6, of course.
So you actually have them losing to Jacksonville, huh?
See, I
got them losing the second.
I got them going 5-1 in the division. The only game I got them losing is at Tennessee. I got them
Same
beating the
here.
rest of the division.
I got Jacksonville actually losing to all their games to the Titans, all their games to the Texans, and going 1-1 with the Colts.
And you see, the crazy thing is,
Because
like,
Bortles looks terrible in
you're
practice,
the one
man.
that's been trying to put me back on the Jacksonville hype.
I did, but
I
Blake
kind of
Bortles.
so I kind of felt bad when I was doing this. I'm like, man, it feel like I'm always
Blake
got the
Bortles
Jaguars at
looks
like 3 and
horrible.
30. And yes, he does look terrible, but we can't talk with the quarterback play that we had last year. I mean,
Yeah, I mean that's true. That's true.
I
That's
mean,
true.
at the end
But
of the day,
I
the
didn't have the
Jaguars.
talent.
And now the funny part about that, though, for Jacksonville on the flip side, that makes them interesting, even with the bad plays you can anticipate from Blake Bortles, everything else on their team is pretty solid, especially the defensive side of the ball. They
And
got
this
a
is
ton of
true.
talent on defense.
And
And
that's why I have their record at whatever I have when
Hey,
we talk about them.
I just say, don't jump the gun now. Don't let the cat out of the bag.
No, I'm not gonna drop that one.
and definitely, oh, I forgot to tell everybody this is being brought to you guys by DraftingSleepers.com. We are the official sponsor of DraftingSleepers.com. So if you got any fantasy football questions, feel free to submit it to DraftingSleepers.com. We will be answering those for you. But fantasy wise, man, it's not looking good as far as
Not looking good for who?
For who? For the Texans?
for the Texans fantasy wise, man. I don't know who I can trust.
Man, you crazy.
I could trust Miller because
But
I feel like they're gonna give him the ball.
I still feel like you can find other pieces at the back of the second round over Miller. It's probably a couple more receivers I'd take.
Now,
It's
wait,
tough.
what is Miller's projection?
Right now he's 2-2, so he's the back of the second round.
No, I'm
212.
good.
That's too
I'll
high.
pass.
That's too
Yeah,
high for him.
that's what I'm saying.
I'll
That's
pass.
too high. And you talking about with a max touchdown of what,
He's
6?
gonna be a work share. First and foremost. I mean, he has the title of lead running back.
But
He's
he's
gonna
not
split a lot of carries because the more that
especially
Deontay Foreman plays in the preseason, the
Mhm.
more carries he's gonna take away.
Exactly. And I think the Texans are going to utilize Lamar Miller a little bit better than what they did last year because they don't use him out the backfield enough, like how he was utilized
well,
in
he
Miami.
wasn't able to be used at all last year because
Exactly.
Brock couldn't throw. He couldn't throw to the flat.
Man,
Like, he just couldn't do it. So I mean, it was a few plays where Lamar could have been open on a wheel route or something, but they just couldn't connect.
but yeah, with the Texans, I really do, and I still think that Deshaun Watson, when he does start, whenever that may be, I think the chemistry of honestly, DeAndre Hopkins won't be hurt because DeAndre Hopkins has been hyping up um, Savage for the whole preseason, but
I
then
mean,
again, when you watch.
it's all for show.
It is for sure because if you watch a little bit of practice, it looked like Deshaun Watson and Hopkins got a nice little thing going, a little Clemson connection. So we never know
But
what's going to go there. But
Deshaun is one of those types, though. Deshaun has moved up into the category as far as receivers go that it really don't matter who the quarterback is. Just throw him the ball. He's gonna make plays. He's gonna get yards. It's just a matter of getting him the ball.
And then the crazy part about everything, Marcus, is they actually haven't connected all in practice. Like he hasn't been allowed to run with the first team offense, and that's probably the most frustrating thing because it's like, man, just let's see what he got. I know Bill O'Brien is taking it slow, like we all said. You don't want to lose the confidence of Tom Savage. Not saying that he got a lot, not saying he has the most swag in the building, but if you just give him a few reps, I don't think it'll hurt that much. Just see what he can do.
exactly, you want to see.
I'm really hoping when New England comes in for practice next week that Deshaun can run some first team offense.
I hope so too because you didn't move up in the draft just to not see what you have with your draft pick. So we'll see what's going on. Like I said, I need to see that Clemson connection going on, but also in fantasy, I also like the tight end position. I'm a fan.
Oh yeah, sleeper time, baby.
I'm a fan of Fedorowicz. I like how he did last year. I like how he was utilized last year. Even though people say Brock Osweiler and the tight end is they have that connection going on, but you saw enough flashes with Fedorowicz where he has the talent and he has a little bit of the speed and he doesn't, I guess, take on a lot of punishment. So you don't have to worry about the injury as much. So I'm really high on Fedorowicz in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, right now he's going undrafted, so it's almost like he's one of those who's he playing this week type of play. I don't know if Fedorowicz can start all 16 games of a fantasy season.
I think so.
I think
To
so
me,
too.
He's one of the best. He's one of the best sleepers at tight end that I can think of. Honestly,
Exactly, because he saved me last year. It was his games where he had like 5 for 78, and it's like he could have got the touchdown, but it's Brock Osweiler, and you know how successful we weren't in the red zone. So I'm telling you, it's times I thought it was like the Eric Ebron.
is he? No, it's not a bad thing, but it's more of a what weapons will be used this year. You know, Jalen Strong only had 14 catches last year. Braxton Miller only had
He is.
15.
Will Fuller gone.
CJ Fedor's had 54 catches.
But you see Will Fuller gone, so that's another cog out of your offense. So you have to factor that in too.
And I understand, but I feel like 54 may be his cap. I don't see Fedor's reeling in like 70 catches. I feel like DeAndre Hopkins has a better chance at triple digits.
But my thing though is when we're talking about production from the tight end spot in fantasy football, 54 catches ain't that bad of a cap.
And then
but this was last year with a tunnel vision quarterback.
Okay,
and I feel that, but you go through and you consider the fact that, like he said, Fuller is out, so there's going to be considerations for that. The Texans, scheme wise, have a high propensity from 20 to 20 for going for their tight ends too. So it actually puts him on the higher end as far as yards per game on the receiving end.
10 a catch
for most tight ends. You go through and you look, and 10 a catches is pretty solid when it comes to fantasy purposes for a tight end. Add to that the fact that both Savage and Watson will probably be looking for him a lot when it comes to red zone opportunities. I think the kid can break 65 catches, maybe about 700 yards, maybe about 6 or 7 touchdowns.
If Jalen Strong get hurt, yeah.
But no, think about this also.
I think he can do it whether he gets hurt or not. I think he can do it.
And you have to also factor into consideration what a rookie quarterback's favorite, their best friend, the tight end position. That's always the check down person. And Fedorowicz has that, potential to move the chains. He's the safety blanket, and then I feel like he can break a few off. And I feel like Marcus said, I can see him going 65, maybe 70 touches.
At the end of the day, he's a tight end from Iowa. He's a tight end from Iowa.
Do you want to bet on this? Are we going to make another salsa?
I can bet on it because Tyler Ervin not going to have 3 catches.
Tyler Ervin might not be on the team. He might just be a special teamer.
Get out of there.
Deontay Foreman got his spot right now.
Yes, sir.
Tyler Ervin was playing receiver when Braxton Miller got hurt yesterday. So that's why I was telling y'all early on before we even really.
But that's in preseason though.
No, but he's also been running those same passing routes in practice. So he's more of a receiver / running back. He does double duty. That's why I really feel
like you look for him to get more touches and opportunities than Fedorowicz?
No, but the opportunities that Tyler Ervin's going to get, that Akeem Hunt may get if he make the team, that Jalen Strong will get, that Braxton Miller will get, that's going to take away from the 89 targets that CJ got last year.
Okay, but
nobody you named was a more reliable target last season.
For Brock Osweiler. Please remember that.
And that's fine. That's all well and good, but I mean,
talent. You saw the talent there.
A quarterback is going to see a safety blanket. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. All quarterbacks, you're trained at this point in time in the way that the game is. Your safety blanket is your tight end. In just about every NFL offense that you can think of right now, the tight end is the ultimate safety blanket. That's the ultimate go-to guy. That's the ultimate when everything breaks down. That's the guy that I'm going to go to with few exceptions.
I 100% believe in that, but it's still 15 other tight ends I'd probably take before I even consider CJ Fedora.
Hey, I didn't say that he was a top tight end. We said he was a sleeper. We said he was a sleeper.
Exactly. What is he talking about? You've been drinking before this podcast?
See, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about right there. This is what happens when you have a homer shout out his own team.
That's a desperate start. Because, I mean, CJ's good, but he's more of a run blocker. He's the run blocker.
Who said a start? We talking
about
a sleeper.
At the end of the day, bro, we're talking about a sleeper. So that's going to be a tight end 2 or a tight end 3 for me. It's not a desperation pick. It's just a depth pick. If I'm in a keeper league, he's definitely going to be a tight end 2 for me.
Exactly. DeMarcus ain't showing no love, man.
I mean, he's not being drafted. Like I say, I like CJ. I like him from his run blocking standpoint.
I can't tell.
Sleeper, really.
As a pass catcher, I highly doubt he can get 60. But I'll take out.
We see the passion.
I'll take out.
Look, Brait was undrafted. When you start seeing that talent,
all right. When you talk about Cameron Brate, let me talk to Wilson about this. What does Jameis like to target in his offense?
He likes to target his tight end, but what
he likes to target anything big, and he's traditional, so he's gonna target his tight end.
And then what is? So
that's what I'm saying. I feel like the quarterback got a lot.
But then again, we act as though we know what the quarterback is gonna want to target on this team right now. You could have Savage come in and be solely dependent on D-Hop and Fedorowicz. And Fedorowicz can put up 75 catches.
Exactly.
It's not far-fetched. It's not far-fetched.
Because when you see that talent, when you see somebody out there working and you see the successful thing that is working, you start trying to game plan and trying to, Get him a
And
little bit more.
especially if you got an offensive line that can't hold the point of attack for longer than
Exactly.
2 or 3 seconds. Hey, that sounds like a lot of quick passes, a lot of hitches, and a lot of outs to the tight end to me.
Okay, we going too long on this tight end situation, but
Yeah,
That's because DeMarcus is being a hater.
he is being a
I'm
hater
not being
on
a
his
hater.
own
He's just
team.
not the one. I mean, yeah, that's my team, but he's not a real fantasy option for me when it comes to the
Okay.
tight end. I
Which is
always
why
thought
we
that.
referred to him as a
It's a
sleeper.
sleeper.
Nobody said that he was a starter. Nobody said he was
Oh,
Man,
elite. We just said that
my
he was a
sleeper,
sleeper.
my sleeper at least need to be able to catch a touchdown every now and
Oh
then. I
my
oh
don't know
my
what it
God!
is.
gosh.
At least
Oh
catch
my.
a
Okay,
touchdown.
let's
You
move
trying to
on.
say
Let's move on.
I
CJ,
don't know what he gonna catch
CJ,
me.
I'm gonna tell you in advance because I know you're gonna end up being a fan of ours one day. That
Yes,
was
sir.
the Marcus that
That
was
was
hating
the
on you.
Marcus with the
That
D.
was the Marcus that was
D.
What
hating
about
on
the
you.
what about the main pass catcher, DeAndre Hopkins, going in the beginning of the third? Are y'all in or out on him?
I'm in on
Beginning of the
Deion.
third, I'm in on that.
I'm in on that because he has once again that bounce back year. You see wide
Yeah,
receivers do it all the time. They
and that's a good
complain.
position for him to get drafted in. To me, that's not too high. That's not too out of the way. It's solid. I don't really think that anybody will be sweating bullets coming into the season if they drafted D Hop in the third round. Like, oh my God, I should have got this guy. I should have got this guy. I think it's a pretty safe spot for him
Give
to
us
get
some
picked in.
options. Give us some options. Who he's going with?
Right now, DeAndre Hopkins is going with Terrell Pryor,
Oh, I'll take Pryor over DeAndre Hopkins. I'm sorry.
Sammy
Mm,
Watkins.
You see
I'm
Marcus.
definitely taking D Hop over Watkins.
See over who? Over Watkins? Yeah, okay, I'll take him over Watkins too.
Allen Robinson.
Ooh, man, but the way Blake Bortles,
I'll take Robinson over
I
him.
like Robinson's talent. Another bounce back year.
Oh, and then Wilson favorite Alshon Jeffrey.
Nah, not pick. I'll take Hopkins over Alshon.
The
But Alshon, hey,
lies you tell.
if Alshon was healthy, hey man, I'm thinking
Bruh, you
for
are
the
talking
Saints.
about Never Never Land, Peter Pan, fantasy
A
world.
man can
That
dream. I'm
scenario
an
does
Eagles
not.
fan. Let me dream. Story. Hey! Watch out with them
No, it,
Eagles, man.
no.
Oh, so
Honestly, if
I
Alshon
really
is
should be
healthy,
going back and forth with you tonight then too, huh? Because we
No,
play each other tonight.
no,
Oh yeah.
I don't want to hear you tonight. Except when it comes to fantasy.
Thank you
man.
for bringing that up.
In fantasy, do y'all feel that Deontay Foreman is worth a shot? Is he somebody that y'all can see on y'all roster, or is it too
I
soon
think
to
Maybe by
I
week.
think that Deontay Foreman is the ultimate sleeper as far as keeper leagues go. In a keeper league, he's an absolute mutt to get.
See,
As far as the chances this year, I think that I would put him until I see somebody get injured or he just has like the world's greatest preseason. I wouldn't put him at anything higher than a running back 3.
I can agree with that. He's gonna be like in that not that Leonard Fournette, but like how I want to say Derrick Henry was last year. You never
Yeah,
knew if like
exactly.
DeMarco Murray's gonna go, he's gonna go down today, and then you throw him in there. But I think Foreman, he's gonna have the flashes. He may have those outlier games where he gets it going and he gets you like maybe 10 catches for maybe 78 yards and a touchdown, something like that. He'll have them outlier games. But me personally, I'm not taking him. I'm not drafting him personally. I may get him on a waiver wire pickup maybe by week 5 when Lamar Miller is kind of limping around. But we'll see.
If I had a good draft spot where I could steal some extra quarterbacks or some extra wide receivers early and I just get jammed up and I don't have enough running back talent,
Oh yeah,
I
I'll
can
take a
consider
flyer.
him drafting him. But other than that, yeah, I mean, like he's a RB3 for me in standard leagues.
does
He
Blue
has a little bit
concern
higher
you,
rating.
y'all?
Who?
Does who?
Alfred Blue, does he concern you guys at
Man,
all?
Alfred Blue is trash. I've seen him
I'm
too
cool.
many years. He's garbage because he'll shine in the
Yeah,
preseason like he
he's
did
trash,
last
but
year.
he could easily come in and steal carries. That's the big risk with Foreman
That's
because it's like Foreman is better than Blue, but it's like damn, they're gonna keep handing it to him. It's like shit, put
man,
the kid
I
in.
don't know, man. I feel like Bill O'Brien is a competent coach, and I feel like he sees what we see. And I've seen Alfred Blue have he can only scrape 100 total yards on what 35 touches. Like, man, this is not productive to me. And behind this offensive line, I'll take my money elsewhere.
Yeah,
And he can't catch
that's
out, and
probably
he
the
can't
biggest.
catch out the backfield that great either. So I really don't want that. So
Yeah, and that's probably what concerns me the most because you can easily see this offensive line crumbling. I mean, you've seen a lot of it yesterday, so they really miss Dwayne Brown right now. So hopefully he get back into the fold and they can continue to build on that chemistry on the offensive line. But they need a
hey,
lot of help right now.
And
hey,
I'd
this is a
take
shout
Hunt.
out.
I would take
Oh,
Hunt before I take I take Hunt personally before I take Blue.
Yeah, I like Hunt. Keem Hunt looks really nice. He looked good
Man,
last year too.
y'all really on Tyler Irving? Like, what's y'all deal with Tyler Irving? Y'all
Ain't
just
nothing
I
wrong
don't
with him.
have an I don't have an issue with Tyler Irvin. I just feel that unfortunately the one thing that
He's in a
makes
bad
Tyler
situation.
Irvin suffer for me is that Tyler Irvin really doesn't have a position, and that bothers me when it comes to fantasy football.
yeah.
Um,
I'm all right in fantasy football. I understand, but in a return league that also has like rushing.
well, I mean, don't get me wrong. If you got through and you can account for return stats and stuff like that being assigned to the individual and stuff like that, he definitely has value. You
Oh,
know,
whoa,
not
whoa, whoa,
high
whoa, whoa,
value, but he
whoa,
has value.
whoa. So you find value, but none in Fedorowicz?
Well, all
Oh,
right. Look,
come on, Mark.
Tyler Irving.
Well, all right. Look,
If we talking about
well,
10 yards a
look.
return, that's 1 point, right? So if
10 yards.
Tyler
What kind of
Fedorowicz is
return?
not going to even get a touchdown. Come on,
Yeah,
man.
but if Tyler Irving can come in, give me 50 yards in returning, and then backdoor give me 10 yards rushing, maybe another 20 yards receiving, bro, that's
I
eight.
don't
He'll
want
still
it.
have 2 points less than Fedoras with the
Exactly,
touchdown
because
and
Fedorowicz
seven
don't have
catches for
Fedorus ain't
80 yards.
scoring. We scored 23 touchdowns last year. That's a touchdown in point four.
Oh my
We're
lord,
not
man!
That was
scoring.
last year. That was with Brock Osweiler. Remember? That
Yes,
was a different
sir.
situation.
We not scoring touchdowns like that. Oh shit, we may jump up to 30, but we not.
Hey, man,
We not.
Okay, but if they jump up to 30 and Fedorowicz is responsible for 7 of them, what's the problem?
hey, I'm sleeper,
If they jump up to 30, DeAndre Hopkins is going from 4 to 10, and
bro.
Lamar Miller may be
It's
going
still
from
a
And
5.
Fedorowicz
sleeper.
can still catch 7. That's not a problem.
That's
You
not a
still not telling
problem.
me nothing that takes away from that.
Fedorus may get 5
Other
So
than
okay,
your hatred. Other than your hatred.
if he lucky.
let's move. Oh, and also let me get a little spotlight. Shout out to Kelvin Benjamin, who was looking slim out there, balling on the Texans. Man, if Cam Newton
Hashtag
ever goes,
no blooded, baby.
hey man,
Please
if
don't say too much because right now he's going at a perfect price. So
hey,
I'm trying to lay low on him,
let
man.
me also drop this bomb. If Cam Newton and that shoulder is still funny, man, Anderson is going to pepper Olsen and your boy Kelvin Benjamin. So hey, that's another little
Also gonna
tip.
get my boy McCaffrey look good too. He
Oh yeah,
started.
he looked real good. Like I said, like I said.
See, he keep yelling, man. He telling all the secrets. I'm trying. You see, I just tried to slide in there. Here come Mark.
Like I said. But yeah, man,
Don't
let's talk about
tell nobody.
let's talk about the Colts. What you got about the what you got the record looking like, Demarcus?
Man, I got the Colts at 9-7.
What? You generous, man. I'm getting them 8-8.
Oh my God.
Oh, well,
Y'all are
because I gave him one more victory. And
Yeah, that's
I,
too
I
many
may I
victories.
may have I may have to take one away because I don't know if Luck is going to be ready the first couple of weeks. I mean, if he can at least come back by Cleveland, that'll be okay. But I got him winning that Arizona game. But if Luck is not there, I think I'm gonna have to
Ooh.
change my mind on that one.
I
well,
got see.
I guess I informed y'all well before we started this show that I felt confrontational. Let me run this list down to you real quick.
Okay.
The Rams,
Win.
Cleveland, San Francisco,
Is this the losses?
and Jacksonville.
Are those your
So,
wins or your
homie,
losses?
those are the wins. I figured I wouldn't take up that much time.
No
All
generosity.
of these gambles and all of this mismanagement on personnel by the front office for
Damn.
the Indianapolis Colts are going to come to a head. They're going to go 4-12 this year.
Oh, see, now that is possible, but the only thing is, I respect. I don't know. It's like I respect the name of Andrew Luck, even though the
I
talent,
respect his name, but I just don't
talent is
respect the
there.
people that are blocking for
Exactly.
him. He has skill position tackling. He has a worse line than the Texans do.
And I believe Ryan Kelly got hurt, man. He was on the
He
press.
has a worse line than the Texans do.
But okay, so me personally, I mean, even with that, I can
And
see
less
Andrew
running
Luck.
game talent. Less running game talent.
Yeah,
That
Frank
man's
is
gonna
back
get
there.
killed. That man
He
is gonna get killed. They're going 4-12. Chalk him up
okay.
for a top 5 pick in the draft.
Before we continue to bury the coach, though, I do want to give a special shout out to Malik Hooker. I think they got a steal with him.
Man, that dude can ball.
That's a good.
I think
You're
that was
wrong.
one of the best picks in the first round. He really does remind me of Ed Reed. Like everything about him screams Ed Reed. And I hated they made that pick. I wish they would have taken a
Hey,
line.
they needed that. They needed that. They
They,
need help on
they did,
defense.
but it's like you don't want to cheer for them when you already have a bad quarterback situation in Houston. You don't want one of the worst teams to grab a safety. Then you already got to
Yeah,
deal.
let's not give everybody in
You already got
our
to deal with
division
Jalen
ball hawks.
Ramsey,
Yeah,
and
let's not.
you got Dick LeBeau in tennis. So it's like, God damn, we can't catch a break. So big shout out to Malik Hooker, but 4-12 is ridiculous.
I got them going 8-8 Well, I mean, I got them. The Cardinals, Seahawks, Titans, Bengals, Texans, Jags, Bills, and then losing in Week 17 to the Texans because the Texans want to beat another team that they may be tied with that they lose. In my prediction, but keep on rolling.
And I'm sorry, bro. I don't really see where their schedule is just that easy to where they can get by and win more than 4 or 5 games. It's not like they got a real soft schedule to begin with.
I mean,
That's just me. And looking at their road games, they may not win a road game except at the Rams week 1.
Dang,
man,
man.
not even Buffalo.
No. In December outside, remember the Colts are a dome team.
That is true, but Andrew Luck is a thick young man.
And that's all well and good, but that thick young man might not even be playing for that game.
So So you don't think they can be okay? So you don't think they can?
Here's my thing. I don't think that offensive line is going to hold up long enough to keep Luck on the field for 16 games. If Luck isn't on the field for 16 games, the bottom is falling out of that
know
team.
He's not going to be there for 16. Maybe.
Oh, we know.
Well,
that,
okay,
so.
you compound the fact that he may not be there for the first starting 3 or 4 games, let's say, and then he jumps back in, gets hurt again, and he's out for the last 6.
Damn.
What exactly do y'all think is going to happen in that record? I mean, look at the teams that they're playing. Look at the defenses that they're playing.
Man, okay, so the defense that they Seahawks, he might get rocked a little bit with that one. 49ers, I'm not scared
you can go to week 2. That Arizona defense is a little underrated, homeboy. They got players on that team, I'm telling you.
But that's
it's
cool.
not going to be that easy for them.
The offensive line, it's week 2, so the offensive line will be terrible. But it's going to hold enough where Andrew Luck's not going to be on his ass.
That could be Luck first game. I don't think he's playing at the Rams. And then when you talk about Luck coming back to Buda Baker, Patrick Peters,
that's what I'm. Man, they act like it's slouches on that team. They got hitters on that team, man. It's not going to work out too hard for them.
They do. Hey, but I think I have a little bit more faith in Andrew Luck, and I've seen him play through injury.
I got the most.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I have a ton of faith in Andrew Luck when Andrew Luck is able to actually play quarterback. When he's running for his life and having to do everything, that's not Andrew Luck at his best. And where's their running game at?
Oh, well, Frank Gore had 1,000.
He sure did. Quietly.
How old is Frank Gore this season?
Oh, like 1,000 years old.
Yeah, bro. I mean that look, and see, that's my thing. And I know it's kind of bold for me to put it out there at 4-12, and I know that nobody's really going to agree with me, but I'm going off of the fact that the possibility exists that Murphy's Law can just kick in for you right now because you have way too many things that can go wrong on this team than I feel could go right. And I just feel like they're overdue to have all of it go wrong.
Oh, I can understand that. And if it does go wrong, then they're gonna have a nice little draft pick. And then
they're gonna get a swell draft pick, homie. They might get that tailback from Penn State and get it in, or get a nice lineman. I mean, I'm just saying, it happens to the best of them.
It does. We saw Kobe fall, so it happened.
If Andrew Luck falls, are y'all taking a chance on him, or is the risk not worth it?
I'm not touching Andrew Luck. I'm not touching Andrew Luck.
He burnt me last year, and then he burnt me the year before, and I'm just like, if it's what Andrew Luck is, the risk factor with him getting hurt, the offensive line, like you said, but also if everything were to work perfectly and the offensive line did hold up, and Andrew Luck did get hurt, he's still the turnover machine that I still hate in Andrew Luck, and he does that risk factor. And I just don't want Andrew Luck, honestly. Personally, I don't want him on my team. I'll take Tyrod Taylor.
And I mean, I know Tyrod is going to play 16 games. I'm not trusting a quarterback that may give me 10 games. I'm just not willing to take that chance.
Is it anybody on this team that's worth drafting? I mean, because they prices are kind of steep. T.Y. still in the second.
T.Y. Hilton is going to get you major props if you play in a PPR league or if you play in a yardage league. He's always going to be top 5, top 10 as far as receivers go in that regard. Other than that, I mean, if you press for a flex pick running back 2, Gore is an option. I don't trust Doyle.
I'm starting to get
Doyle rules.
I'm getting low on Doyle.
I mean, I just really don't see any light at the end of the tunnel for them on offense, and that in itself is another reason why I'm not really high on them, because they're really just not that explosive at the skill positions on offense the way that they were in previous years. I'm just not really sold on them, and I think all of that is going to come to a head, considering the fact that everybody in their division alone has gotten significantly better.
Mm-hmm.
Significantly better, particularly on defense. Tell me the weak defense that the Colts are going to play in their own division.
None.
They
They
are
are
the
the
weak
weak
division in their own division.
Their
Exactly,
practice,
and that's the
They play
problem.
enough
That's the
practice.
problem.
when they practice. Yeah, definitely. I think I'm starting to lean towards staying away from all coach.
Oh,
Like I
not to
told you
interrupt
guys.
you, but I will say this, and this is for all my nerds like myself that run into them IDPs. I will take Malik Hooker for fantasy in an IDP league because that dude is gonna have a million tackles.
And
Makes no.
also, I gave a shout out to Tyrod Taylor that Marcus, like, very
T-Mobile,
quietly,
T-Mobile in
no,
the
you
building.
remember what we said. I said Tyrod Taylor is going to finish above Matthew Stafford, and Anquan Bolden just got signed. He's going to finish with 25
Yeah, about
touchdowns.
that. The only thing that's gonna do is make y'all lose a bet on your boy Sammy Watkins. It's still not gonna move him past Matt
Oh,
Stafford.
I'm fine with Sammy Watkins losing something. That's the Marcus boy. I'm high on Tyrod Taylor.
Hey, look,
Tyrod is not gonna beat out Stafford in
don't bring
fantasy.
me into this because Sammy Watkins is just fine without y'all talking about him. He got his own things to worry about with his
He
twisted ankles. Y'all leave that
had
reality.
already twisted one again.
he,
Yeah,
he
he got a little twisted ankle.
he went to the he twisted it
I've
going to
been,
the
I've been trying to
refrigerator.
be low key about it. The agent told me don't say too much, but he said he
He
gonna
was
be all
putting on
right.
his Nike slides to get ready to go out the door to practice, and he twisted his
He
ankle.
Twisted his
said
ankle.
he said at least his quarterback healthy. So I said, all right, T, you got to get the fuck out of my face. You're gonna hold me down over here. But man,
Oh,
let's talk about the Titans, man. I'm super high on the Titans right now. I'm really feeling like I should take some of a couple of L's I gave them with the Colts and put it back over. Matter of fact, I think I am gonna do that. I'm gonna go ahead and live feed and improve the Titans to 10-6 and have them as my second playoff team
ooh.
in
See,
the division.
okay, and you know what? I have the Titans already at 10-6 because I got them going at 3 in a row at the end of schedule. But
I got
the
4 in a
way,
row at the end.
okay, so you got to be in the Cardinals.
Yeah, I got to beat the Cardinals at Arizona.
I think the Cardinals are going to be in a weird situation. I feel like Cardinals are still going to be trying to fight because I don't feel like how we said earlier. I don't feel like the
Like,
Cardinals are going to be.
I don't think I told you guys this, but this is my whole theory on the Cardinals. And
Oh,
like I
here we
said,
go.
I know you guys are big David Johnson heads, but this is my
David Johnson. Yeah,
but
shouts out to DJ 31.
oh no, no doubt, David Johnson is as talented a back, and I believe I've said this, and I feel like I got a little ridicule when I said I prefer Le'Veon Bell. But
Mhm.
when you got a coach that has health issues, when you got a receiver that's going out the door, when you got a quarterback that's halfway out the door, it concerns me. And it's
Mhm.
like if those key parts break down around David Johnson, it's gonna be David Johnson or nothing. And that kind of scares me
And I
because
can
it's like
understand that. I can understand that. But the other part that stands out that I know pops off for me and Marcus is the fact that they were just talking about this as early as yesterday and this morning
Drop
when
it.
when my man Deontay got his new 5 year extension. Over the last 2 years, Julio Jones and Deontay Freeman are the only people that have more total yards from scrimmage than
yeah,
David Johnson
one and two,
in
Mhm.
one
the
and two.
entire league. And I mean, he's put up 3,100 yards worth of total offense. So even if the quarterback does break down, because he didn't have spectacular quarterback play last season,
Last
and
year
he
at
still did
all.
15 straight.
No,
He still did 15
but the
straight 100
point.
yard games.
Yeah, the point I was getting, it wasn't so much about David Johnson's stats I was getting to, but I was saying toward the end of the season, you can kind of see those
Oh,
guys.
I feel you.
Like,
That war of
yeah,
attrition is going to kick in,
yeah,
and I mean, then
exactly.
that workhorse is going to go through.
See,
But the only thing that I counter that with is I think that the one thing that sells me on Arizona a little bit more is I think that they've made some pretty quality strides on the defensive side of the ball
mhm.
to the point to
No,
help them out.
that defense has the roster that can be
And
top five easy.
Yeah, they got a lot of talent on that defense. It's going to be interesting to see how it pans
It's
out and how well they.
it's Carson Palmer that concerns me because we've
no,
seen him clock out too many times.
that's true,
Yeah,
but then again, we also, like you just said, with the health of Bruce Arians, I feel like this type of team, just like the Coach Pagano type of thing, your team kind of galvanizes and unites behind each other. And then once again, you have Larry Fitzgerald that's trying to get that, what is that 940 he needs to get so he can
Oh yeah,
uh, move up the
I
ranks.
feel like it's
David
going
Johnson, you got a
with
healthier.
Arizona, I feel like this is more of a stat season than it is a season that they actually can make a playoff run. I don't even have
and
to
you
make
know
a playoff.
the funny thing for me when it comes to Arizona is the fact that I think the one thing that benefits them the most is that mentality, DeMarcus, and that's the fact that nobody's paying attention to them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
When you don't pay attention to them and they don't have no expectations, we'll go out there and play like you ain't got no expectations,
exactly.
and you'd be surprised at how many times they can surprise teams.
Get a
I
dub.
look for them
And
to be I look for
they
them to
have
be competitive in their division.
they have the team that can actually unite and play. I mean, they got they got hella good leaders on their team. I mean,
Yeah, and they have
we
an
already
uncanny ability to play against their division opponents really well because they surprise and they win games in division when you don't think that they would,
exactly.
particularly against Seattle. And that's going to be a big thing. If they can go through, pull off a couple of these games, non-conference and outside of the division, and then sneak in maybe a split or snag a sweep against Seattle while nobody's looking, they're going to be a problem.
But at the same time, I feel like this running game for the Titans can go to Arizona at the end of the season and start that 4-game winning streak to end the season and make the playoffs.
I can see that. And then, I have everybody hyping up a Mariota in camp like he is the new Peyton Manning.
Oh, wait. Let me save you guys some time again because I didn't get a chance to go through this. Seattle, at Houston, at Pittsburgh, at Arizona.
Throw Oakland in there too. you don't think
Seattle, at Houston, at Pittsburgh, at Arizona. 12-4 division champs.
No, see, and then you lied there because they're gonna lose to the Raiders, and the only team that you can take out of there.
They're not gonna lose to Oakland.
They're gonna lose to Oakland. They're gonna lose to Oakland.
They're not gonna lose to Oakland.
They're gonna lose to Oakland.
Who has the more hurt quarterback?
Since we gonna see Marcus after that game
at the same time.
Who has the quarterback that's got more to recover from injury, Carr or Mariota? And they're playing in Tennessee, not in Oakland.
Okay, then who you got the better offense? Oakland.
Right now, current parts constructed. Right now, I'll take Tennessee's offense.
Oh Lord. 12-4.
Yeah. Please explain to me why I would be foolish for taking Tennessee's offense. It's currently constructed.
I want you to tell me why you would take Tennessee's offense.
Because Derek Carr ain't 100%. That's why.
But I feel I'll take a 80%. I'll take a 70 or 80%.
Lynch.
Okay, well let's look at it like this. Then how well were Amari and Crabtree catching at the end of the season last year?
They both have damn good offensive lines.
Exactly, but who got the better offensive line?
No. Who was catching better?
Crabtree.
Crabtree was doing a good job catching because Amari looked like crap coming down the stretch. I had him on two of my fantasy football teams.
Amari has done that for 2 years, though. That's what Amari do. I'm
okay, and I understand that. That's great. Have you taken a look at the way that Tennessee has improved their back four?
Well, they got Dick Vermeil. They should. I mean, that's one of the best coaches when it comes to
Dick LeBeau. And you're right, but that all goes into it too. I'm going to take that aggressive defense going up against that team with a quarterback at 85% at home. Okay, I just don't see them losing that game against Oakland.
And then I just feel like Amari Cooper, this is a year where he needs.
You know what? I got him in 2 keeper leagues, so I hope like hell that you're right. Yeah, I hope like hell you're right.
Add me to that list, sir, because I need a big week for Amari that week.
And he's about to enter that territory where I can't trust his ass no more. If he comes up short this season.
Boy. I'm
giving Amari 8 weeks before I put him on that damn trade.
Oh, yeah. Don't put him on trade. I think you want to keep him this year because I feel like
I mean, if he don't show improvement in these first 8 games, he's out of there for me. He's out of there for me.
Yeah. He got 8 games, so it's like, all right, bro. I ain't got.
There's too many wide receivers. If there's any position in fantasy football that you do not have to have patience with, it's wide receiver because there's too many of them. There's too many of them. Will come
in to give you 150 and 2 touchdowns.
But enough on Oakland. Who are you high on, Marcus, on Tennessee? Since you so high on their offense.
On Tennessee, they've made significant strides in their offensive package. I mean, you start off with Mariota, who actually made some progression last year. Still can't seem to kick that injury bug. He gets nicked up. He gets nicked up from time to time, but I still look to him to be a above average QB, and I'm looking forward to him taking another step this season. Their running game pretty much speaks for itself. It's a 2-headed beast. They can be extremely productive. I mean, we say should, but at the end of the day, I mean, if there's any luxury that you want, you
want to.
You know, we talked about this with Atlanta's thing because we had that discussion about whether to keep Coleman or not.
They're gonna trade him.
You want to have more than one running option, and I mean, it's good to have it that way. You go through and you look at.
I think DeMarco should be more of the third down back because he has better hands. But first and second down, if I'm the coach, man, I'm putting
Henry in to bruise them boys because that's
to me. You know what? To me, honestly,
that breakaway speed that catch you off guard. That's why I like.
But to me, the thing about it is they should take a page, as unfortunate and cliche as I have to say it. They should take a page from a Belichick and they should treat it on a game-to-game basis by situation. Whether they run him out more or run Murray out more, it just depends on the opponent that you're facing and what it is you're trying to do. But again, it's one of those things where they just have that embarrassment of luxury. There's a ton of teams that wish they had that dilemma, starting with mine. But it just is
Yeah,
what it
hey, no,
is.
no, y'all getting there. That damn Jamal Williams gonna be
Oh
but
yeah.
but
that
the
Jamal,
thing,
that Aaron, then whatever Montgomery become. Y'all getting there, man.
see, and the thing that I'm kind of, man, losing Corey Davis. I mean,
Well, he'll be back. I know it's a concern, but you still added Eric Decker, so it's like, damn,
I
man.
oh
mean,
yeah, I forgot about Eric Decker.
you lose
Ooh, I
Corey
forgot about
Davis,
him.
but you got Eric Decker and you got
He was.
Tajay Sharp, who had a great rookie
And Rashad
season.
Matthews. I mean,
Oh, I
Yeah, you
thought
got Rashard Matthews that's growing. You got Delaney Walker that's still holding it down at tight end. You act like there's nobody there, man. They have weapons.
that. Hold on. I thought a few podcasts ago, some people were low on Tajay Sharp.
who?
Low
One
on
of y'all
Tajay Sharp for
two.
what? No,
I could have sworn we talked on a podcast. Maybe I was talking to somebody else. Who knows? All this
I
stuff
mean,
no,
getting
I've
mixed
never
together.
been. I've never been low on Tajay
Okay.
Sharp. As somebody to
Oh,
witness
you know who it
firsthand,
was? It was on Boyd for the Bengals. My bad.
oh yeah,
Wrong
yeah,
person.
Tyler.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
okay. I
I was
see
about
what
to
you're
Boyd.
say,
My sorry.
as somebody to witness firsthand what Tajay Sharp can do, because he had his coming out party against Green Bay.
Oh yeah,
Trust
he
me,
was
I'm not.
balling.
I'm not low on him.
Yeah.
Uh,
Never mind. I'm so sorry about that.
But
I
you go through and
apologize.
you add that up, going back to this offensive philosophy. You go and you add up that talent on the outside and stuff like that to go through and balance out the running game. And then again, they have a top five offensive line. I
Yeah,
mean,
that
there's
Eric
really
Decker. I
not
forgot.
there's really not a lot to dislike about Tennessee on offense.
at
I
I
all.
mean, they
I
basically
agree.
did what you're supposed to do as a front office. Get your franchise quarterback in there, kind of assess them the first couple of years, see what it is that they need to work on, what it is that they need to add, and then add it. You need
I,
more options at wide receiver and tight end. So
I
that's what they did.
Well, I
So
apologize
now,
because I did forget about Eric Decker. I did.
oh
I
no, you
totally
good, babe.
forgot
You
Eric.
good.
That's you know what? Take it back. I'll give the Titans probably 10-5. They'll beat the Colts. I had them losing to the Colts. You persuaded me that the Colts offense is going to be trash, and I forgot totally about Eric Decker, so I
And
can
see,
give them
that's the
another
thing for
win.
me. I just think it's one of those years for them where everything kind of balances out, and
Like the
the
Bucks.
ball is going to bounce their way. Exactly, the
Like the
ball is going
Bucks.
to bounce their way this year. I just look at them. I told y'all when we first started doing this, the Tampa was my surprise in the NFC. Tennessee is my surprise in the AFC.
Forgot.
I'm
You're
just
right.
I'm just real
And you
high
know
on them
who really
this
is
season,
getting forgot? Delaney Walker. Like he's still there.
bruh,
He's still
He's still
man.
one of
He's a
the
bruh.
beast.
best tight ends in the league.
When he cooked,
Hey man,
you remember when he cooked the Saints that one time for like he had like two
I
long
remember when he
drives.
cooked the Packers last
That's what I'm
last
about to
year.
say. Delaney,
I remember when he cooked the Packers last
he'll
year.
sneak in and get that 60-yard catch. You be like, ooh, who's that?
Like who the hell is that? Is that the Lightning Walker?
That guy
Like
kind
ever
of.
since he left that San Francisco uniform, people just kind of forgot
Forgot
about him and
about him.
just
You're
kind of
right.
wrote him off. No, bro, I done paid attention to that young man.
I see you.
Oh no,
They're gonna be hard to handle on offense, man. Especially if Mariota stays healthy.
I
That's
hope
the
so.
key. If Mariota stays healthy, they're going to be a legit AFC contender
You're
because
right.
they
You're
have
right.
enough youth and enthusiasm on both sides of the ball.
And sniffing the playoffs would help them going forward because I feel like you said, if they will not if they were, they will make the playoffs. But when they do, getting that experience is really going to help and develop them going forward. But Mariota
Exactly.
already has a mature state of mind, and you already know how we feel about Mariota. But if he can't stay healthy, that's like you said, if he can, they
Like
could be
literally,
high.
that's the only negative that I have on Marcus Mariota as a quarterback is just the
It's
fact
health,
that he can't stay healthy.
of
He's a
course.
great talent to me. He's one of the five best young quarterbacks in the league to me,
agreed.
hands
Slide,
down.
son, slide.
Man,
If you
please.
guys had a choice to just get one, would you rather get DeMarco Murray at the end of the second or Derrick Henry at the beginning of the sixth? That's their current ADP.
Ooh, give me
Oh, damn.
If you can only
Damn.
you can only get one because either
Henry,
somebody gonna take
Henry, Henry. I feel like
Oh my God.
this is what's going to be. I'm telling you, like you said, that offense is going to be clicking. And Henry is the type of running back you want to throw in there when you want to pound a little bit,
and
grind out
I
that
think that
clock.
you know
on
what?
the
I'll say
side.
it like this. I think that Henry is going to be one of those guys that he's going to be money for you in scoring leagues, but he's going to
Hmm.
be in between if it comes to actual yardage leagues. I look for him to be that 150, 160 touches guy with maybe 450, 500 yards, but he's going to have like 12 or 13
He got a
touchdowns.
touchdown.
Yeah,
And
that's what I think, and to me that's what kind of makes it hard depending on the league that you're playing in. Man, that is juicy as hell though. If you're talking about a 6 round pick,
Don't let Murray get hurt.
I
God
mean,
bless, and that's not too far fetched either.
That's blood in the water. Because man, if Henry,
He might not get his spot back if he get hurt again this season. He might
man,
not get his spot back.
I don't know,
if
man.
Henry,
It seems like they love DeMarco Murray. I mean,
but
you
then
want
the
the
They
hamstring.
do, and they've invested a lot of money into him, and it's
Exactly.
understandable. But
hamstring.
by the same token,
Yeah,
If Henry come in there, he get hurt early, and Henry come in there and crush it.
he ain't getting
Yeah,
that.
Sorry.
he's gonna take that position.
That Dalvin Cook in him. I ain't getting
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, but
Green Bay loved
Samaj
Don
P.
Mikowski for a long time, and then Brett came in when he got
I
hurt.
will say this: regardless of who you have on the Titans, they have a beautiful fantasy playoff schedule. I mean, when you talk about
They do.
Bruh,
It's
San
shootouts.
bruh,
Francisco
Shootouts.
15, the Rams.
bruh,
If you have to play 17, you got Jacksonville.
in
Cook
that
'em.
thing.
I
Cook
love
'em.
it. I love
Cook
it.
'em.
That's why I want one of those running backs. I honestly feel in at least 2 of those 4 weeks to end the
Shit, I
season.
want Mariota.
I,
I would take him in the ninth round, like you said he
yeah,
was. I'll
I
take a
love.
flyer on him.
I'd rather have my boy
What's he projected?
T-Mobile going into
Oh,
T.
you already know I want
Mariota.
T-Mobile.
Know
No,
what
no,
I'm
no,
saying?
no. Where's
The ninth,
Mariota?
I believe.
Ninth
Ninth
Right.
round?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can go with that. And then one of the things that I like about him too is the fact, and I think that it's something that doesn't really get played up that much, is to be such a young quarterback, he is very safe with the ball. I
Dude,
believe he's on a.
in
I
a red
believe
zone,
he's in red zone. He's 33 touchdowns, no interceptions,
yeah,
career.
no
Killing
Uh,
it.
Last year he had
33
26 touchdowns and nine interceptions. I mean,
33 in 2 years. The Texans scored 23 total touchdowns
See,
last year. This dude
and the
got
thing
30.
about Mariota also that I want to take into account is I hope last year wasn't an outlier season because he really was clicking last year. I hope it was like a precursor to
Last year was
what's to
just the
come.
beginning.
No, that's what I'm saying. I hope it's a free. You know how you can reach that fork in the roll and you can hit an injury. You can either go this way or you can go that
Oh
way. And
no,
then, like I
yeah.
said, Derek Carr
I'm
and
100% with you, but they
Derek
didn't
Carr.
even lean on him like they needed to.
That's true, but Derek Carr and him are at that roll, at that fork in the roll where it can go left or it can go right. And with the talent, we saw the talent last year, and if he can stay healthy, and with all things considering, he can have a great
And
fantasy
the
breakout
fun
season.
thing about it for Mariota too is the fact that from a philosophy standpoint with the organization itself,
Hmm.
he's the face of the franchise, but he's not the workhorse on the team. There's still
That's
a
true.
running team at the end of it, and that kind of helps him out too
Ground and
because the
pound.
expectation isn't as high for him as a quarterback as it
Exactly.
is for say a Derek Carr or a Deshaun Watson whenever he gets in. He's not looked to do everything there, and that's on purpose. They legitimately, and I'm so jealous for a lot of these young QBs like a Deshaun Watson. They literally have built that entire team around him so
Around
that
him.
he won't have those rough
Hmm.
edges. He won't have those bad spots. He won't have those times where he doesn't have enough weapons at his disposal to be able to do the things that he needs to do. And I think that that's awesome that they, you know, to me, when you say we're going to invest in our franchise quarterback, that's how you do it.
Yeah,
Hey,
they got the perfect game plan.
what do you got,
I call it
Matthews?
the Dallas
What is Matthews going in the draft?
11th, sir. He's on the 11th round.
I would take
That's
that.
not
I would
bad.
take that. I would take that bet because
Honestly, all of them niggas. Eric Decker in the ninth, Corey Davis in the ninth.
I trust.
Rashad
Okay,
in the
so
ninth.
always
Man, to get 950 yards and 9 touchdowns in the ninth,
In
I'm
the
good with that.
but think about this. This is the thing about with him. I like when Eric Decker is there and when he's clicking, that number one really flourishes. Like with Brandon Marshall, with
Hmm.
Demarius Thomas, and we saw last year the connection between Mariota and Matthews was on point, and he was really showing that talent last year. Even like the deep bombs, him running his different routes. So I'm man, that's a steal to me because
and
I
we'll
feel
say
like
And
he
that's
can
the
finish
thing
in the
with
top 15.
Davis being hurt really
Hmm.
doesn't bother them that much because you still have Decker, you have Matthews, and like you
Exactly.
said, if you have somebody like a Tajay Sharp as your number three, you're not
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
that bad. You're
Looking
not
like
doing that bad at all,
they looking like the Giants offense. Oops. Minus the running back. Minus the running
man.
back. I'm sorry.
and Wilson,
The running back.
someone told me something very interesting. I wanted to get your take on this. They
What's up,
told me
bro?
that Dory Jackson has the best chance to win Defensive Player of the Year. How do you feel about that? Rookie,
Defensive Player of the Year or
rookie,
Defensive Rookie of the Year?
rookie Defensive Player of the Year.
Uh,
How do you feel about that? I feel like I know it's more.
I
I know it's
I
more people that has better talent, but him in this offense.
well, you know
With the
what?
coach we talked
You
about.
can say that, but I think pure talent wise, there aren't 3 or 4 people that I can name better than Adoree Jackson that came out of this draft. Now, putting that talent into one position and having it flourish, that's a whole different ball of wax.
Yeah,
Because he's one of those jack of all trades, master of none.
he's gonna be
Uh,
the nickel cornerback.
I kind of shy away from his chances of winning defensive rookie of the year because of other teams with other situations like I don't know, Kevin King in Green Bay. for starters, where the opportunities will be more because Kevin King isn't probably going to be a slot. He's going to be
Shit,
an outside guy, guard number
we
ones or
see
number
how
twos.
Miles Garrett did Joe Thomas. Jesus.
Exactly. You go through and you look at stuff like that. You look at, other guys that are coming down the pipe. You look at a guy like we just mentioned his name because I'm super high on him right now, and he might be a sleeper pick for defensive rookie of the year. Buda Baker in Arizona
Buda
is going to
Baker,
get a
yeah.
lot of player times. He's going to get a lot of playing time.
Malik Hooker,
Another guy that can slide in there depending on how the injury bug goes and stuff like that. If Zach Cunningham gets a chance to play from the beginning of the season,
hey, tell me
he's
about
going to make a push. He's going to make a push for rookie of the year on defense. That being said, Adoree Jackson comes into a very good situation because he comes in at a position that benefits him
That's
from a
important in the
situation
NFL.
of
One of the most
playing in a system with a coordinator like a Dick LeBeau is going to work wonders for his game, in my
exactly.
opinion.
We ain't supposed to be talking fantasy. We ain't talking about all that. We supposed to
Hey,
talk
that's
fantasy.
IDP,
Oh,
baby.
but see, that applies to fantasy and IDP leagues. Rookie corners
Rookie
are
corners, hey,
money. Rookie
especially
corners are money. They're gonna get you all kind of opportunities for passes,
I feel
defense,
like
tackles, and everything else.
I feel like we was doing the football life over him.
You know what?
I'm
You
just
know
playing.
what?
I'm just
You
playing.
know what? You see this? You see this nonsense? You see this?
before we
So
move to
much
the type,
thought. So much thought.
what is the one weapon that you'd rather have? The one weapon,
On the
not,
Titans
not, not,
offense?
not the running backs, but actual passing weapon. Which one?
Wait. Before we get to that point, let me make this closing statement because I don't want people to think that I sound just too crazy. I'm just going blind off luck and this, that, and the other. Another reason why I'm so high on the Tennessee Titans this season is that if you look at them level by level on both sides of the ball, they have star quality at every level. They have star quality at quarterback, offensive line, running back, wide receiver. They have star quality at defensive line, linebacker, and secondary. There isn't that many teams in the NFL that you can legitimately say that about. And that's another reason why I'm so big on them. Their
Well, you better
roster,
sell them.
top to bottom, has tons of talent on it. And that talent is going to have to pay off at some point. And I just think that this is their year for it to kind of jump off and actually, really show what they can do.
No,
Okay, there you go.
Because
Dropping that knowledge.
that front four,
It's nice. They were
only
nice
the Texans, are better with the front four.
Oh, okay. There you go.
But don't sleep on the rack,
And
folks.
they actually have, to me, pound for pound, man for man, they have the best linebacking core in y'all's division.
Oh well.
Uh,
Hey,
well,
Avery Williamson, Derek Morgan, Brian Arakpo, Wesley Woodard, them dudes can play.
I know, but
hey, that's on.
are we
Them
calling
dudes can
JD
play.
a linebacker or are we calling defensive line?
Hey, that's an
Who?
argument for another day.
I'm saying, are we
Talking about
calling
D Morgan?
Clowney? Are we calling Clowney a linebacker or are we going to include him
I
with
call Clowney a lineman.
Okay. So, all right.
I call Clowney a lineman. I put him at his natural position and stop this fiasco, this farce. It was good while it lasted. Put that man in the position he benefits from the most with the guy he's going to benefit from the most with J.J. Watt and watch them tear the league up with the best 3-4 defensive line we've seen in 20 years.
All right.
Period.
All right, well, let's talk about these bum ass Jaguars, man. It's
Bum ass.
not a lot I like about
he,
it.
he sounded like he was on the East Coast when he said that. I'm dead ass on these boys.
Hey, fuck these
They ain't got
bum-ass
nothing, B.
boys.
They ain't got
They
nothing, B. Jags ain't got nothing, son.
Probably got the most wins. I got them at 6-10 actually.
I got them at 7 and 9. Oops, I'm sorry. don't
I'm
know.
sorry. So sorry.
What do you got?
Nice 5-11, baby.
Oh, see, the only reason. Okay, so
It's better
I
than
got them
I'm
at Houston. I got them at Houston. I got Tennessee, Baltimore, and London. At Pittsburgh. At Indianapolis, Cincinnati, the Chargers. At Arizona, Seattle, Houston again, and at Tennessee.
Oh, you got
Those are their losses.
Jets?
see
Huh?
this.
Oh, no. I thought you said losing to the Jets.
No, I got them beating the Jets. I
I
told you the Jets is only winning one, baby. The Jets is only winning one. We went over that. Nah.
Jets
Everybody getting that dub on the Jets. Jets is everybody's homecoming game.
With the Jaguars, personally, record-wise, I see Blake Bortles either. I know he's been terrible right now, but I feel like that defense, they won't rely on Blake Bortles as much and having a steady running back situation. And once again, they are stacked at not all positions, but they could.
Calais Campbell's a huge pickup.
Yeah,
If healthy.
if Blake Bortles can,
It is, but he's got to stay healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
if Blake Bortles can get his offense together, I mean, get his mechanics together, and actually be productive, and not try to force things, and not try to overdo things, and play within the realm of the game, I think that they can come out with 7-9, and that's gracefully. And I got them losing to the Texans, the Titans, the Steelers, the Colts, the Bengals, Cardinals, Seahawks, Texans, and Titans.
Griffin, I seen you earlier say that you would rather have Leonard Fournette over Todd Gurley. I kind of want you to explain that to me. Like, what was your thought process on that one?
The offense, I like the offense better. I don't like. Okay, so Blake
I can
Bortles
agree with
and
that.
see Blake Bortles and what's his name? See, I don't remember his name. The trash QB at for the Rams.
Oh, Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
There you go, Jared Goff and Blake Bortles. You can say that's a
Can you
wash.
call
But
him
I can see,
trash and he hadn't even really played yet?
I mean, I saw him on Hard Knocks. That
He
was
was
good
he was
enough.
under Jeff Fisher though, B. He was under Fisher though.
I
Hey,
think Jeff Fisher made him
we
look
know
a
how we
little
all
bit
feel
better.
about you.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel about that. I feel like Jeff Fisher.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I'm not high on him at all personally, but with Blake Bortles, I look at the quarterback position, and you can say it's a wash. I think Blake Bortles is a little bit more talented than him, and then you look at the wide receiver position in Jacksonville all day, running back position. Fournette is going to be more fruitful in that offense. It's like Jaguars' offensive line is not terrible. The Rams' whole offense is terrible. So better offense, more production
the
on the
Rams
running
went
back.
out and signed the best left tackle that was on the
But
market.
that's beautiful. But when your quarterback can't throw the ball, a la Osweiler,
Yeah, but
what happened?
Then
What
you look
happened?
at the
What happened?
Jags. They left tackle just retired. They got Cam Robinson that's going to be starting.
Which tackle?
Um,
Which
Brendan Albert.
Albert?
Yeah.
Yeah, he came back, homie.
No, they
You know, he wants to come
didn't
back
accept
out of
him.
retirement.
They didn't
They
accept him.
didn't accept him.
No, they
So
didn't.
he's got to cough up that 3.4. That's
Yeah.
tragic.
So they still got Cam Robinson at left tackle. And the thing I like about Gurley, he has a little bit more volume. Like, you know for sure he's gonna get the
Here
volume.
we go.
No, it's hey, honestly, I
Fitz,
may
okay.
not have either one on the team, but if you want to take this
Here
bet
we
about
go.
Gurley versus Fournette, I'll take you out.
We need to bet more often. You owe me a salsa and chips on what else? What do we bet on the salsa and chips about? Oh, about Fedorowicz. We got a salsa and chips on that one. And
I
now
know.
we're gonna do a fajita dinner. Let's make it just a fajita dinner.
Mm-mm.
Just because we got these two
Mm-mm.
days. I don't need you buying no salsa and chips for me. You got two bets. I got you got Gurley, I got Fournette, you have Fedorowicz.
Now,
I give
is
a
this
touchdown.
on fantasy points or total stats?
I'm saying fantasy
for
points.
Fournette
Because
and,
we're only fantasy.
yeah, it's gonna be total points in the standard league.
Yeah, fantasy.
Okay, all right.
So total points, I'm gonna go with Gurley, man. 'Cause I think he'll be able to at least turn out a couple more touchdowns. I don't see Fournette.
We'll see. Those remember when the Jags played last year and the year before, those they got a lot of those, I guess, red zone where they got stuck.
And that's
Because the running back situation, Fournette, the running back that can punch that in, Gus Bradley couldn't get it going. I feel like they can get it going this year, and they also with the coach they got now, they also looked kind of competent at the tail end of last year. So I want to see how Allen Robinson does this year.
And that's another key to it. I really do think he's going to have a huge bounce back season.
There you go, and then boom, there we go, Leonard Fournette.
You think Robinson is, or you think that Bortles is?
I think Robinson. Bortles. You know what you're gonna get out of him.
He'll sneak up and give you 25 touchdowns, but like maybe
he's gonna
19 interceptions.
He's gonna give you 21 interceptions off rip. So
21.
it's like
Damn, 21 interceptions.
when you
Maybe 19. I'll take 2 away from that.
It may be 25 and 25. I mean,
Dang.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like this,
Savages, all of you, savages.
You probably got him throwing. You probably got Blake Bortles probably throwing 20 touchdowns and 35 interceptions.
Who, me?
And that wouldn't surprise me.
Actually, if I could project out Blake Bortles this season, I project him out right around what he did last year. I would say probably about 3,700 yards, about 25 or 26 touchdowns, and about 17 interceptions.
Yeah, and I see Tyrod Taylor being better than that too. Boom, boom, boom.
Well, I never had Blake Bortles on that list, so you're fine with that. But that ain't Matt Stafford numbers, so I'm
just hyping up Tyrod Taylor for every podcast.
Oh, and you know what? speaking of T-Mobile, because I forgot, because I gotta give a shout out to my distant cousin out there. I remember that you mentioned that Russell was supposed to slide down and Taylor was supposed to be like advancing towards him or past him. Have you seen Russell Wilson in camp?
Who said that?
You.
I said something
when you
about
was listing
Russell.
when you was listing all your quarterbacks, did Tyrod Taylor was going to surpass or be better
No,
than,
I said
or which
no.
quarterbacks were going to slide down in
Nah,
fantasy and not have? I could have swore that you mentioned Russell
no,
Wilson's
I think
name.
you said Andrew. I don't know about
no.
who
I
said it.
remember us talking about. I just said Tyrod was going to finish in the top 13, or I mean, no, in the top 12 of quarterbacks. Who did I
And
say
I
before?
asked you to name them, and when we went through the names and we said
Oh,
Russell
Russell.
Wilson, I
Yeah, Russell may look good, but I'm talking about on fantasy wise. I don't think he's going to be running as much. You can see that he's not
I
running as
will
much.
I will bet you on that right now, right
What do
this
you
second,
want a sausage?
that he will put up more fantasy points than Tyrod Taylor.
Let's
Mark
get
it,
the sauce and chip bet ready.
No,
Griffin. Take
I
it.
want the fajita. I want the fajita
Oh, you want to
dinner
feed
on
him
that
in?
He
one.
gonna try to
Okay,
cheat him.
so if I lose to you, I can take what DeMarcus owes me because I know I'm gonna be right, and I'll give it to
Oh
you.
boy.
Not playing.
Hey, I mean, however you want to get it done, that's
Hey, I'm
fine.
down. Hey, let's go. Let's
But
make
I'm
that
just
fajita
saying,
bet.
I have to
Fajita
give a
bet. Let's
shout
go.
out. And it's funny because last year I actually found out that we actually do have people in common relations wise from that Ohio, Kentucky area. So he's like eighth or ninth. But he is my cousin and I love him to death. But Russell is going to have a huge year
I
this
can
year.
believe it. I can believe him having a bounce back year, but I don't know. It's just I feel like Tyrod had something to prove. He's been
Tyrod
doubted,
does have something to prove because
and then
even his own
LaShawn McCoy.
organization doesn't really believe in him. I actually think he's going to have a bounce back, but I just don't think that from a fantasy wise or real world wise, he's going to move up into that elite tier of quarterbacks just yet.
Man,
No, well,
I don't know. You got that boy Sammy on that contract.
Oh my
got
God!
that
Can we move
Sammy on
on?
that
Can we
contract.
move
You
on?
know?
Okay, so discussing the offensive options for Jacksonville.
There are
Alrighty,
none.
Allen What? There are none. Allen
There
Robinson
are.
is
We talked
their wide
about.
receivers and stuff were still viable.
Allen
You want Allen? You
Hurns.
want Allen Hurns? You want D.D. Westbrook? You want
I'll take
Marquise Lee?
Hey,
I'll take Allen Hurns because
in a keeper league, I'll take Hearns and
I'll
Westbrook.
take Hurns. You low on them boys because they get them garbage time points, and
Man,
that counts in fantasy. Any point, any time between the
In
the
Indy
starting of the game to the
playoffs.
end.
Indy playoffs. They have Arizona,
Don't
Seattle,
care.
and Houston. I
Don't
don't
care. Do
nothing to do with
not
that.
care. Do
but leading
not
up to
care.
then, I mean, to me, I call it the Dominique Davis rule. Dominique Davis was awesome in fantasy football because the Texans gave him more garbage time yards between the 20s
Boy,
than
see,
anybody in the NFL.
do
He
not
always ran
care.
for a grand, but it was empty yards.
Like I
I
said,
mean,
do not care. Allen
Just to kick
Robinson.
that field goal.
Allen Robinson. I'm high on Allen Robinson. I'm high on Fournette, and I'm high on Allen Hurns. You can't sleep on those. And then
mhm.
Marquise Lee is be back healthy. I mean, no, well, Allen Hurns is back healthy now. But then that whole trio they got going there, they have a nice trio. If they can
And I
get
mean, you add Westbrook to the mix. I mean, it only makes it better for
much
them.
more juicier,
All right. As far as Fournette is concerned, you rather have Fournette or Lamar Miller?
Fournette,
I'll take Fournette.
Fournette or Isaiah Crowell?
I'll take
Fournette,
Crowell.
Fournette or Mike Gillisley?
Strong.
Gillingsley.
Yeah, I'll take Fournette.
Oh, you take
Fournette,
Fournette over Gillingsley?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well I can see that.
Fournette or Spencer Ware?
I'll
Fournette.
take Spencer Ware for no. I'll take Fournette for
I'll
300.
take Fournette. I'll take Fournette.
Fournette or Christian McCaffrey?
I'll take Christian
And that's
McCaffrey, a
where the
side of
list is.
fries, and a large Powerade,
I'll
and also an
take.
ice cream cone.
I would actually take Fournette over McCaffrey.
What? Man, I'm telling you, this offensive explosion from McCaffrey is about to happen. Even though I have the Panthers still not having a great season, but it's going to be out there.
I think
Hey,
the McCaffrey is going to have a good. I think the McCaffrey is going to have a good season. I just see Fournette having more opportunities than McCaffrey.
Oh yeah, garbage time.
They got a lot of
you don't think
weapons on
Ivory and
Carolina's
Elgin is
team.
gonna take a couple of those carries away from you? You think
Oh,
they just
Ivory will, and what's his name? Man,
Well, the thing
what's
for
the
me when
man
it comes
guy
to
from
Carolina
Alabama?
is the thing
TJ
that they
Yeldon?
There you go. He's gonna take some opportunities away from him. That's why I have
Nah, I'm
McCaffrey, and
not
I
sold
don't.
on Yeldon at all. I'm
Oh,
not sold on Yeldon at
But
all.
it's the fact that he's there, and
he's there.
that's why I feel a lot safer with Todd Gurley with the Todd Gurley bet. There's nobody behind Todd. It's three running backs in Jacksonville that can easily get in there and get a carry or two.
Well, that's true, but Ivory always gets hurt,
And I
and
mean, don't get
TJ
it
Yeldon
twisted. They
ain't
have
doing nothing.
plenty of
I,
options in
I
there
hear
for
the defeat. I'm
McCaffrey.
enjoy these fajitas, so I appreciate it.
Hmm.
Oh, you ain't
He
getting
gonna
no
be serving
fajitas
up
because
a
I'm
double
about to eat them.
order.
Hey! You watch your mouth. You
He
want?
about to serve up. He about to serve up a double order.
Mm.
Uh-uh.
You want
No,
chicken? You
sir.
want chicken or beef? Wilson, what you want?
Oh no, I need the combo. I'm frou frou. I need chicken and shrimp, sir.
Oh
Oh,
damn, man, you taking it to a little
he's
Latin
good.
flavor to your fajitas. What?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I was born in San Antonio, homie.
He moved.
Let's
He
not get it
moved.
twisted.
Oh, okay, you moved from the $28 meal to the $34 meal.
he
Nah,
didn't came
player.
up for you, girl.
We can keep it at Chili's. It don't have to be $34, man. We
That
good. I ain't
that
tell you to
Katina
take me to
bowl.
Lupe. I ain't tell you to take me to Lupe Tortilla. We can do Chili's. It's fine.
You
But
know,
yeah,
and,
man, I like Fournette, man. I feel like
no, I like his
but
talent too. I
McCaffrey.
think he is the elite 3 down running back that you want on any kind of offense. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
well let me ask this, fellas. I need each of y'all to give me his stat projections this year. What you got?
Me personally, with the crowded backfield, I got Fournette at about 850 to 950, right under 1,000, and probably 7 touchdowns.
Okay.
I got him at 900 with 11 touchdowns. I feel like they're gonna go to him in the red zone.
11, bro. Even Maurice Jones-Drew didn't get 11
I
touchdowns.
don't care about no Maurice
Oh,
Jones-Drew.
Hey,
oh,
boy, don't you talk about him,
You
oh,
was
JD,
talking
like
about he a
what's wrong
vegan
with you?
all of a sudden, man.
oh.
I ain't never seen no 300-pound
It's got.
vegan get on my face.
It was some venom behind that one.
I know.
Fire, because he
Maurice,
gives the worst. I don't care what you say. I don't.
did you lose? Did you lose again, Maurice Jones-Drew?
No, what it is I watch a lot of fantasy football TV shows, and you know he's on a fantasy football. He gives the worst advice on fantasy,
He do be setting
and
people up.
he still has a job. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on? He would hype up people that you do not.
Yeah, he do. He be tripping, bro.
Ain't
I
nobody
forgot who
about
he
to
hyped
fire
up
that
one
little
time.
bowling ball of hate.
Okay,
Ain't nobody about to
I'm sorry,
fire him.
Maurice Jones-Drew. If you happen to catch wind of that, don't fight me. I'm sorry, but I don't think you give good fantasy advice. So I feel like Leonard Fournette will sneak up and get double-digit touchdowns because once again, garbage time. They're gonna go to him in the red zone, and
If they
And I agree. For me, I actually have him projected to break 1,000 and to break 10 touchdowns.
oh wow,
I have him
ooh,
right at 1,000 to 1,050 yards, and I have him at 10 or 11 touchdowns.
yeah, look at that. Me and Marcus.
And part of the reason why is I think that he's going to be a little frustrating to some owners because I think he's going to have 3 or 4 monster
monster game,
games, and then
Cleveland,
he's going to be pretty mediocre the rest of the way. And that's the thing
Cleveland,
that's
San
going to be funny
Francisco,
about
and the
that.
Jets. But between those 3 games, I can see like 500 yards.
It's all
Yeah,
good. It's
and
all good.
that's the thing. He's gonna have some days where you're gonna have folks that's gonna be like, "Man, I should have drafted that mofo. Man, I had him. I should have
Dang, he was
got
on
him.
my
He
bench.
ran for 215 and 3 touchdowns. Son of
And
a bitch!" And then you're
he
gonna
gonna
have
play
them.
Arizona, have a
Yeah,
fun.
then you're gonna have them 5 carries for 45-yard games like he was playing against Alabama again, and you'd be
Yeah,
like,
like
"Oh,
he did at
never
practice.
mind,
Did you see that practice play when they just brushed up on him?
bruh, bruh." I'm
But what
trying
is
not to
Allen
bring up
Robinson
stuff
getting
like that.
drafted
Hey,
at?
no bullshit aside. My man Jalen Ramsey should be a top 3 corner in this league by the end.
Oh, he should be.
Should be, and I'm saying that with all
Should
confidence.
be.
Like
Well, let me ask this: you're the defensive coordinator for the Jags. Do you want to play him at corner or safety?
I put him at safety,
Safety.
and
And that's the only problem that I have right now. I would much rather him play safety. At safety,
safety. What?
he's
He can
probably
roam.
one of the 10 best defensive players in the league.
Yeah, he
Period.
can
Easy.
roam.
Uh,
Like I said, I love my corners, but if I can get
and yes, I'm
that
biased because I'm
chess
a Seminoles fan. Yes, I
if
am
I
extremely
can get
biased.
that chess match from the quarterback to the safety, and my safety can win a couple times, I'm loving it. That's why I like Malik Hooker so much. I think he's going to be able to man things back there,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
and that's probably the biggest thing you don't see with any of the other teams of the division outside the coast. The Texans don't have that elite safety.
They
The
don't.
Titans don't have that elite safety
They
yet,
don't.
but they have some pieces they can put back there.
They have safety that
They
can
they
become
got
elite,
yeah,
maybe.
they got safety that could come elite, especially with the coach that they have. But
and see, that's the
Jalen,
thing for me. If they can
Jalen
get any
Ramsey
of
is
those
that guy.
corners, if they can get any of those other corners on the opposite side of Bouye to kind of step up and
They can
fill
move
in that
him
number
back.
2 spot, so you
They
can
can move
move his ass and tell Barry Church to get the hell out of the way,
Move
then you're good.
church.
Or even even run a hybrid scheme to where your nickel package has 3 safeties instead of 3 corners.
And then
I still think that you have that
let's
flexibility.
not forget about the other Seminole, Telvin Smith, one of the fastest linebackers in the league.
Oh,
Yeah.
bro, you ain't got to
You
tell
got
me nothing. I
Up
got
the
him in
block.
4 keeper leagues.
you talk about Dante Fowler, Paul Paslusley. You know they got a lot of talent.
They
On
got
defense.
talent on that D. They got talent on that D. They have potential to be a top 10 defense.
If they stay healthy and they can get somebody, what was the guy that was a good impact player that was on the line? Shanderick Marks. I think he was
Yeah.
hurt last year. So if he can get back into the fold,
And
man,
you already added Calais Campbell. You got Malik
him and
Jackson
Campbell
that you got from Denver at tackle spot. I mean, they got a nice little nucleus there.
Did Prince leave or did Prince stay? I think Prince left because that would have been a nice little 3-man tandem. I don't think Malcolm Murray stayed. I don't know where he went though, because he only signed a 1 year deal
Yeah,
with the Jaguars.
I don't think he
He
stayed
only
either.
signed 1 year. I think he dipped out. But yeah, definitely. If that defense can get they shit together, they can wheel out a couple more victories than 6-10. But who is the one player in the AFC South that you definitely got to have on your fantasy roster?
I have to have Matthews. I do like Matthews. I feel like he has breakaway talent, and I feel like he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I feel like he's going to really out. I want to
It
say
don't it
what
don't it don't scare you that he sometimes on the play can be the fourth option. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of elite talent in Tennessee, but would that still be
But
the guy you trust him
see,
the
I don't
most?
think he going because he at the tail end of last year, you could see he just got. I mean, they just got him. Last year, so he
Yeah,
had to develop. And you see, he moved up the depth chart, in my opinion, and he
quickly.
showed he had what? What you guys say?
No, I said quickly. I said he moved up quickly.
Oh yeah, he moved up, and then you can see that rapport that he had with Mariota, and
Mhm.
I value a thing of a quarterback wide receiver relationship when I got you, you got me, and I feel like he can go catch those. He has talented hands. I really have to acknowledge that he was catching some nice balls. No homo, but he was doing great last year. So I'm high on him. I'm very high on him. So if not him, maybe Allen Robinson for the bounce back because I was high on him last year. He kind of Blake Bortles him. But I feel like they're going to tailor more to him as a number one wide receiver instead of, focusing on other people like they did last year. Gus
No,
Bradley's
definitely.
trash.
I 100%, 100% agree with you. You didn't have to just throw that
Man,
slug
he
in there.
garbage. I'm telling you that London game where he kept running the ball with what is his name?
I,
Gerhardt, Toby Gerhardt. I was
oh,
just like, yo, he's not going to break the line.
Toby
How do
Gerhardt.
you run the ball 4 times and you don't score at the 2 yard line? I said, come on, man, just
I
get
know
rid of him.
Toby Gerhardt look at like Christian McCaffrey and damn near want to hang himself sometimes.
Oh well, it is what it is.
What about for you, Wilson?
uh, the player that I would say that I couldn't do without in the AFC South for me, especially after doing all this talking on this podcast, would have to be
Mariota,
Marcus Mariota.
you already knew that.
I look at him to if he stays healthy, all things considered, I expect him to
If
have
he
a
stayed in the
very
ninth
good
round, that's
season.
important.
I expect him to actually, like, real talk, if he can do everything and live up to expectations, I expect Marcus Mariota to be in the MVP conversation
Ooh.
at
He was
some
in it
point in the
last year.
season. And I mean, don't get me wrong. If the Titans, like I said, go 12-4, there's
Oh
no
yeah,
way
he'll
in
be in
hell
the
he
MVP.
won't be in the MVP
Yeah,
conversation.
but Tom Brady's gonna
Uh,
throw for 45 touchdowns, like I said, so he'll
Here
get
we
it.
uh,
go. How many Gronkowski gonna have, Marcus?
so
Gronk
let
gonna
me,
have
yeah, he gonna have
15.
about 35 of them things.
He
He
gonna
gonna
have
have about
15.
35 of them things.
35.
Uh, and for all my IDP people, just for what it's worth, the one person that I couldn't do without in the AFC South this year because I think he's going to have a monumental season is Jadeveon Clowney.
Well,
Can't double him.
I hope he has a good season. He signed one of
Can't
my
double him.
footballs.
Can't pay too much attention to him now. That nightmare scenario is about to get activated. We're about to see what it's all about because aligned with Watt and Jadeveon on them bookends with them linebackers sitting behind him, I think that Jadeveon is going to make a lot of people feel real stupid about automatically figuring he was a bust.
Hmm. Hey,
Mm.
I'll probably have to backdoor off that and say Whitney Mercer should be another name to look at in IDP because
Oh
he's
well,
the
he's no brainer.
yeah
He's
he's the one
automatically
that
assumed.
he's the one that benefits the most from Watt and Clowney doing their damage. And if DJ Reader can come in there and get them a little bit of something on the interior, so Whitney Mercer should be able to get a lot of one-on-ones.
I
And,
look for
and
Whitney Merciless to be in the top 10, top 5 in sacks this season.
definitely. And as far as player, I'm gonna have to go with the Titans also. Whoever Mariota had in the ball to, I got to get one of them. I don't know which one it's gonna be, but if I miss out on Murray, I'm getting Henry on the back end. If I get Murray early, I'm willing to sacrifice.
Hey,
I'm willing to sacrifice my fifth round pick to go back up and get
And
Henry
if
just to
all
know.
else fails,
we
man, and you
out.
drafting in the right league, handcuff him.
Yeah,
Hey, it's
yeah.
crazy.
That's probably one of the few handcuffs that I'm 100% confident. I'm not even 100%
Yep.
confident in that
It's
Atlanta handcuffs.
it's.
No, I have no faith in it.
I think it's crazy that we all have the Titan players one of our AFC South people to watch
Well,
The
for.
I mean,
handwriting is on the wall. I mean, they
if
did
It
the
is. The
most
writing
to
is on the
improve
wall.
themselves on
and
offense.
if
They did the most to
Luck
improve
shoulder
themselves on offense.
if his shoulders mess up, this is the best offense in this division. Like
Yeah,
easy.
I
and it's
agree.
not even close. It's
Yeah,
not even close.
not even close. Like 2 miles,
Not even close.
2 miles away. Man, but Yeah, I like that.
Beautiful fantasy talk. Beautiful fantasy talk today.
Love that
As
right.
always, as always.
We just wrapped up this division breakdown and we are done with all that. Definitely y'all can catch us on draftingsleepers.com. Draftingsleepers.com. If you have any fantasy questions, feel free to submit them on there. I am available almost 24/7. As soon as I get an email about a question, I'm willing to answer. Big shout
I
out to
don't.
610 for the love they gave us today. What you got, Marcus?
I was about to say I don't know if they want to hear your advice. You talking about Fedorowicz gonna catch one
You
touchdown?
really own me
You
about
watch your
Fedorowicz.
mouth.
Like,
Yeah, we on you about that, man.
Yeah,
That was
we on you.
all right,
disrespectful.
A
y'all.
sleeper.
Don't make me go to my Stephen A.
All
voice,
right,
please. Don't make me
You
do
was
it.
answer
before we
nine.
wrap this up,
Answer.
just tell me when to stop and tell me which tight end you're gonna start considering taking Fedorowicz over.
I
Rob
said
Gronkowski.
sleeper. Okay,
No.
let me tell you right
All
now.
right,
No, no, no. Let him do it. Let him do it,
yeah.
Marcus.
Rob
Let's run his list.
Gronkowski?
Let
Let's
me
run his
start.
list. No, we're not taking him over Gronkowski.
Jordan Reed,
No,
No,
Tyler Eifert,
no,
Travis
no,
Kelsey,
no,
no,
Greg Olson,
no,
no,
Jimmy Graham,
no,
no,
Delaney Walker,
no,
no,
Kyle Rudolph,
no,
no,
Zach Ertz,
no.
no,
Hunter Henry.
no.
That's 10 right there. All right, now we going.
Okay.
Now we going to tight end
Keep
too.
going.
Eric Ebron.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you. All right, Martell.
Eric Ebron
All
already
right.
banged up. I don't trust Eric
I
Ebron.
know how you feel about
We
Eric.
talked about
I
that
agree.
before.
I agree.
Eric stay hurt. That's the only
He
reason
can
why I
stay
say
up,
yeah.
but I take him. But honestly, the way he was looking, nah, I'm gonna roll with him this year. He gonna get it together.
He got that one last year like Amari. I'm with you, Mark.
Okay.
Martellus Bennett.
Yes,
No.
I'm taking yes.
Boy, you crazy. Aaron
I don't
Rodgers.
I
like
won't take him.
Bennett. I don't
Well,
like
see, the only
Bennett.
reason why I say that I won't take Bennett, the only reason why I say I won't take Fedorowicz over Bennett is that honestly, I kind of look for their numbers to be kind of similar.
Oh yeah, I can see that, but I don't like Bennett because
Gonna have
he goes
double
cold when
touchdown.
it's cold.
Oh, he go.
I look for
Watch what
Bennett,
I say.
and because of the fact that being a Packers fan and giving y'all the inside information and stuff like that, the tight end that's actually shown up and shown out the most is Lance Kendricks. They're super
And
high on him,
he was so talented with the Rams. If any bright spot
and he's
that the
from
Rams had,
Wisconsin. I mean, he's playing for his hometown favorite. I think he's going to do some
Lance
good stuff for them.
Lance Kendricks runs like a wide receiver, but he has the body of a tight end, and I like how
Yeah,
he can move in and out of routes. And he was the bright spot in that terrible Rams offense. Him and Kenny Britt,
good under the
both of
radar vanilla guy that nobody's really paying attention to, but he's probably going to put up some pretty good numbers.
yeah, both of them. Kenny Britt, if you were Brown, I mean, I feel like he's going to do wonders for the Browns, and then also Lance Kendricks. That's another player that I wanted to speak on when we talked about the Packers, but I did because I forgot about he got him because we were so talking about Bennett and bull crap.
You know what, sir? Do you
I'm
know
sorry.
what?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Demarcus, please continue with your list of tight
Yeah,
ends,
continue with
please.
your list.
Jack Doyle.
Yes, over Jack Doyle.
Yeah, I'll take him over Jack Doyle.
Kobe Fleener.
Yes, Kobe.
I'll take him over Kobe Fleener too.
Antonio Gates.
You know, because
Yeah, no.
probably gonna get that. He want to go for that.
They'll be about dead even, honestly,
Well,
because
I
Hunter
see
Henry is gonna take the lion's share of those receptions and stuff.
See,
But
he gonna get the receptions, but I see Antonio Gates getting at least.
you know,
50.
Gates is gonna post up. You know, Gates gonna
He
post
gonna
up in that
post
end
up,
zone.
right? Yeah, give me the ball.
This is gonna be a tough one. This one I'm gonna end it. Charles Clay.
Like I said, Charles Clay and Tyrod Taylor and Sammy Watkins.
I just had to hype up. I had to hype him up.
I'm taking CJ Fedorowicz every day and twice on
Hey man,
Sunday,
you better watch Clay fly.
just
Man.
because of that Don King promotion that y'all just did.
Hype him up.
Look,
Only
I'm
in
Charles
Buffalo.
Clay, man. I feel like people really underrate
Hey,
his
Charles
talent.
Clay is underrated, but he's a linchpin in that offense and what it is they try to
That
do. And
is
him and
true.
Tyrod have a real good comfort zone with each
Yeah,
other.
they do.
Yeah.
And Sammy Watkins go down.
But again, the biggest problem with everybody on Buffalo's team is they all get banged up.
That helps.
Yeah, especially Shady McCoy. I mean, I know he's gonna
Hey,
down.
LaShawn McCoy
I
said that he
flipping
is the
love
best running
McCoy,
back
man.
in the league.
But you know what? When he's healthy and locked in, he is.
With him
I
saying
can
that,
completely agree with him.
a man that comes out and says things like that at the running back position, I see confidence. I see a person of determination, and I am drafting that man.
You know, before
And I mean, I ain't mad at him. It's not like he ain't never walked it like he talked it before. I mean,
he-
at one point, Shady McCoy was the best running back in football for me, especially from a fantasy standpoint.
Yes, sir. Them Eagles years, but continue.
Man,
I 100% agree with you, man. I 100% agree. But man, anything y'all guys got to say as far as the fantasy aspect is concerned? We are done with the divisions. Is it anything y'all got to say about the fantasy aspect?
It was a beautiful division breakdown. We met Marcus during our division breakdown. Me and Demarcus had that. Demarcus had that vision. I want to say 3 months ago to have this division breakdown, and it's brought a lot of prosperity to our podcast, as well as bringing in the newcomer and our third member, Marcus. So that's always a good thing. And then getting us pumped up for this fantasy season. I got 3 drafts going on next weekend, so I'm
Nice.
feeling pumped about that. I just found out I got a fit. We had a $50 buy-in to a standard league that I always do, and I said, "Why is it standard?" And I convinced them with the podcast to change it to PPR. Shout out to Fish and Grits.
There we go.
Yes,
There we go.
yes to that. And for
PPR or
me, I'll always love these casts and stuff like that because that's how I got introduced to you guys. That's how I got to be in the mix. I will tell people all the time. One of the most enjoyable things that I like about fantasy football that I encourage people with too is don't be afraid to step out there and try different things just to see if you like it or not. Try a PPR league if you've only done standards before. Try an IDP
Switch
league
it
if
up.
you've already gone through PPRs. Try an auction league and see how that works. See if you
Ooh,
can really work it with a salary cap. Try a keeper league and see if you can keep a core like an owner and run the gambit and terrorize people over a 3 or 4 year stretch. But most importantly, man, one of the most beautiful things about fantasy sports in general is that it gives you a dead ass excuse to get together with the people that you care with and watch more
drink 50
football.
beers. Drink a case of
Uh,
beers.
and that's always an awesome thing to it, man. You know, great unifiers,
Hmm.
music and sports all day long. And I think that it's going to be an awesome season all the way around. I think that there's going to be tons of great moments that we're going to have to talk about and argue about and laugh about and cry about, depending on how well our fantasy teams do. But that's the nature of it, and that's what makes it all worthwhile. So I'm just looking forward to a really fun season, man. It feels like it's been forever since we've had football. So I'm
Oh,
all in, and
so
I
Tom
cannot wait.
it's such a
Brady,
dude.
45 touchdowns.
Sweet
I
mother of everything in this broadcast, that Tom
we
Brady
gonna
nonsense.
we gonna end it, but
Tom Brady is
I
about
want
to
to let
roll
everybody
his
know
ankle at the
I
press
stayed
conference
up
for Matt.
until 2 o'clock last night watching the game twice just because I was excited to see the pigskin being thrown.
Oh
And
yeah,
on a side note, Martavis Bryant is practicing and he will be playing this year. So
Who
for all y'all
cares?
saying no,
He a
hashtag weak
bum.
sauce.
you gonna get on here and
He's
talk
Hashtag
gonna
about
throw
weak
him the
sauce.
ball.
T-Mobile for all this time, y'all gonna hear about Martavis Bryant and his
Yeah, how
1,200
he's
yards and
sitting,
10 touchdowns. Then he gonna smoke his weed and chill.
Hashtag
and then
weak
he gonna be
sauce.
suspended for the rest of the season.
It don't matter as long as he get me a championship this year. I
He
don't give
gonna be sitting at home with us watching Tom Brady throw
You
for
know what,
45
fellas?
touchdowns.
You know what? You know what, fellas?
I'm done.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you this question real quick before we end up. Let me ask you real quick. Each one of y'all give me your biggest bust and your biggest sleeper, league wide.
My
Lee?
big
Oh, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
my biggest bust will be I'm gonna take a flyer on Dak Prescott and that Cowboys offense. I feel like their schedule do not favor them at all, and I will stand behind that one. And if I'm wrong, guess what? I'm okay with being wrong. I am not like LeBron. I don't shy away from
You
the
stop
blame.
that. You
You
Oh,
stop
I'm
that,
sorry. I'm
cannot
sir.
sorry. I'm
have the
sorry. I'm
same
sorry. I'm sorry.
excuse
Sorry.
for
That's
no
for
reason.
the original
You
podcast.
stop that, sir.
But my sleeper is going to be like I've been hyping him up. If you've been listening consistently, I've been hyping this man
I
up.
wanted
I'm
to
hyping him up
introduce you.
today. You already know McCaffrey. I'm hyping him up, man. I feel like he's gonna take off, man. He's gonna do wonders, and I feel like he's gonna have the type of season that's gonna change that program. But I still don't think they're gonna do anything in the division.
Whoop, whoop. My biggest bust this year is going to be Jordan Howard. I think he's going entirely too high. I
Todd
have
Gurley.
no faith. No, hey, first off, don't you talk about Todd Gurley like that.
Blasphemous.
Todd Gurley's going to get his 1,000 yards. He's going to bounce back. Bulldogs for life. So
I guess he'll be playing
Jordan Howard's going to be
Madden.
the bust this year as far as running back is concerned. And my breakout is going to be a receiver. It's not the receiver y'all think. It's going to be Terrell Pryor. I think Terrell Pryor
Oh,
can
there you
easily go
go.
out there and bag him 1,250 yards plus double-digit
And 12.
touchdowns
Mhm.
with Kirk Cousins.
That's also my other sleeper.
Okay.
I forgot about him. Sorry about that. No disrespect to Pryor. He's a
Oh,
beast.
none at all. None at all.
For me, my biggest bust this season, and there's so many to choose from,
It is. It's
and
a lot.
I know you're gonna take me to tax for it, but uh, I'm just looking with all the stuff he's got going on for him to have a letdown. My biggest bust this season is Le'Veon Bell. Unfortunately, all the stuff they got going on with this holdout stuff and potentially missing games, it seems like there's so much of a distraction and circus show going on around there. I think that his numbers are going to take a little bit of a
A dip.
tumble. Is he going to fall off the cliff?
No.
No. But is he going to be typical Le'Veon Bell? I don't think so either. For sleepers, just because of the relative newness, but because of what I've seen in camp
Fedorowicz.
and the faith that I have in him, the faith that I have in him moving forward is as it pertains to opportunity and stuff like that. I look for Dalvin Cook to have a really, really good year this season for Minnesota.
I'm with you.
And I mean, I look for Dalvin Cook to probably be in the 1,400 yard, 15 touchdown range. Good.
Oh wow.
No, he can get 14.
Dalvin Cook, and I will tell you from experience, being a diehard Florida State Seminole man, playing on that carpet indoors in Minnesota, with that breakaway speed and that vision that he has, he's going to put up some numbers. He's going to put up some significant numbers. And I hate to say that because although he used to be a Seminole, now he's a damn Viking, which means I got to look at him run for $160 on my team.
Xavier Rhodes with the pick six on
Yes,
Aaron
sir.
Rodgers.
On Aaron Rodgers.
Win the
I'm gonna need y'all to stop playing Madden and come back. Unplug from the Matrix, please. Unplug from the Matrix.
We doing the tomahawk right at the
DeMarcus.
Do it. Cut the cheese.
Get 1,000 yards this year.
Cut the cheese.
Hey, side note, real world props. Vikings taking care of their vested interest. They locking up all their playmakers on defense.
Yes, sir.
I will give them props for that. They locking them in. They got them long term. So their defense is going to be a problem for about the next 7-8 years.
Let's go.
Definitely. We got the second serving coming up pretty soon. But as for now, this has been Fish and Grits, and you guys have just been served.
Y'all take it easy.
Peace.